much truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news? Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hunt.
It's Judge Janine, and I wanted to congratulate you on the Don't Unfriend Me show at the Dumb Show. I was thinking about that whole thing the other day when I thought it was right after Donald Trump was elected that everybody on the left started unfriending anyone on the right. So I'm glad you're calling them out. We've got a great name for the show, and I hope that you're true to the values, conservative values, Republican values, and that you call those people out. I think it's great. And I know you've got 135,000 followers. I hope you get a lot more. And just keep the faith. Keep fighting. I think we may get America back. But in the meantime, we've got a steep hill to climb. And you're one of the fighters, one of the patriots. So thank you for what you're doing.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
I need someone to check Rumble. We had a snafu when we first started, and for some reason the stream stopped, and then it caught it. Looks like people are in Rumble, but I don't see any video. We might need to reboot this. Hey, Deborah. I'm seeing everybody's messages. I'm sorry. I'm not focused right now. Yeah, I'm not seeing this thing. Why is that showing that again? Anybody tell me what's going on with Rumble, please? You guys got video? Says it's live, and the booking is showing. This is weird. All right, let me try to end stream. End stream. And I will fix this. So everyone hang tight. I think I know what the problem is. Hold on. Your videos. Yep, there it is. Library. Sorry, gang. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let's get the stream working first on Rumble. That's going to be the key. The internet connection was not fast enough. What the fuck is going on with my internet? Ethan! Are you on the internet? Are you on the internet, son? I'm going to need your help. Come down, sit in front of the modem for me, please. Sit down in front of the modem, please. The modem. The white modem. Sit down right in front of it, please, for a second. Thank you. Sorry, buddy. Stress right now, okay? I'm being short because I'm trying to get this working. Okay, that's ridiculous. We're running 1200 Mbps with 1.2 gigs. 1.2 gigs download and 74.6 upload. Yeah, that's not the problem. Okay, so that's not it. All right, E, this is what we're going to do, buddy. We're going to reset this and see if this starts streaming, okay? Just say yes. I'm talking to you like your mom. because she has to sit here and listen to me because I can't process things unless I talk. Okay? Just say yes, dude. Thank you. Throw me out a big yes once in a while. Yes, Dad. You're the best, Dad. Lie. Are you going to sleep here? Is that what you're doing down there? All right. Replace image. And hit upload. And, oh man, we need a good donations night. It's already starting, I can tell. Save changes. Okay. All right, let's start stream and see what happens. Let's cross our fingers. Cross our fingers. Cross our fingers. So hit start stream. I really don't want to have to redo all this. Oh, it's one of those days. One of those days. Ethan, I don't need you anymore. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, I'm working on it. Rumble Studio. Nope. All right, so let's look at yesterday's. And yep, that one works. Okay, so that needs to be deleted. Get rid of it so it stops confusing people. Confirm. That's done. Check Rumble. No picture. Nobody has any picture over on Rumble? Double check, please. There may be using people. Hey, there it is. All right, we got it fixed. Let's rock and roll. Get this shared out, folks. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Nobody has any picture over on Rumble? Double check, please. Let's get it shared out, please. Let's get this thing shared. Hey, there it is. Working everywhere. You can even hear the voices. Fixed. Let's rock and roll. Get this shared out, folks. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Nobody has any picture over on Rumble? Double check. All right, that's working. Rumble's good. Let's close that out. Everybody needs to back out and re-access in Rumble, please. And let's share the hell out of this show, please. Let's get it shared. I want Twitter to have some people on it. Okay. All right, let's let everybody get caught up. Here we go. Now everyone's coming in. All right, we've got a few viewers on Rumble. So if you were on Rumble, you need to go back into it, please, and resync up to the new show. And it should have updated time and everything else. And we'll just let's take a few seconds, make that happen. Here, we'll let everyone come on in, and we'll show T.S. Dixon because we like T.S. And then we'll come right back.
Hey everybody, it's T.S. Dixon, author of The Woke Mind Viruses. And I want to tell you that I'm pleased to be part of The Dumb Show, the Don't Unfriend Me show that you can find every weeknight at 7 p.m. on social media at The Dumb Show or on their website, thedumbshow.com. See you there.
All right. So speaking of T.S. Dixon, we had Barry on the show last night, Barry Morgenstein, and he donated the Rock and Soul book, which is behind me. And I had the same thing with T.S. Dixon, who gave us a couple of books, which we're pretty excited about. So the grand prize winner was announced last night, and we had 5 other winners, and I think it went well. It's the luck of the draw, you know, and I know there's people like Deirdre who put in like 10 submissions and 13 with her normal donations and didn't get it. And, you know, you sometimes the odds, it's just the way it is. I mean, you look at the NHL draft and the lottery, it's the same thing. Even if you're last, the odds of getting a first round pick are like 27%. And sometimes it doesn't happen. So I wish everyone could win. That would be awesome. But, you know, we're going to have plenty of contests and plenty of drawings. We're thinking of doing some other things, some bigger contests, and, you know, we're excited about it. So we hope you are too. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Matthew Spear. Sorry for the delay. I apologize. Looks like everybody's coming in now. Hi, everybody. Rumble's good. I'm seeing my Rumble people on there. I can see Rumble chat now. So if you guys have any questions, I can actually take care of that. Since Olivia's not on tonight. And no Leroy. I gave Leroy and Amy off. I said, get out of here. Go enjoy Christmas. So just you, me, and the Christmas tree. And sometimes that's okay. I like it like that. It's been a while since we've just done a show between us. And phone lines will be open the entire show. You want to call in, you want to talk, it's Christmas, it's fine. Just pick up the phone and let us know how you're doing, what you're thinking, what it's all about, and we'll kind of go from there. Have quite a bit to talk about tonight. There's a whole bunch. I'm pretty excited. I had a video that was uploading for my PlayStation 5, and anyone who plays the game Diablo, you know, and people are like, oh my God, it's the devil. Relax, it's a video game. There are world bosses, and world bosses sound fairly ominous, and they are. And usually a world boss takes, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 players to kill and take him down, because it's a big boss. It gives a lot of loot and stuff like that. And I've been playing the Paladin for the last couple weeks, and yeah, I soloed one, and I got in there and I was like, well, people will show up because you have like a countdown, an hour to get in there, and everyone gets in there. First time I've never seen people in there. And what happened was, in my opinion, I think is, I took off server settings to do crossplay. So there's limited people, and plus it's Christmas and usually people are doing something. So servers were just slow, the one I was on, and lo and behold, I was in there by myself. So I'm like, all right, I'll just attack the thing. So I attacked it, and I saw the red bar, its health bar, move, and I'm like, what just happened? Because usually it takes 5, 10, 15 people all hitting it at once, and that thing still just barely moves. And I'm like, okay, well, that was my super special move. I'll just go ahead and hit it with a couple of other things. And I did, and I saw the bar move. And then I'm like, okay, well, it's just going to hit me, and I'm going to be out of potions, and I'm going to die. And it hit me, and I didn't do anything. And I'm like, what? So it took me 8 minutes, and I killed the damn thing by myself. It's a pretty big thing. It's pretty cool. It's like going into the plane of fear in EverQuest and sneaking your epic item, which I did. But that doesn't matter. I mean, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But to solo a boss in Diablo by yourself with your character. So I'm like, well, how powerful is my character? I don't understand now. I'm going to go to a rift. And in a rift means you can get scalable levels of rifts and just run them and make them harder and harder and harder to kind of decide where your character's at. So I went ahead and went into a rift 125, and I cleared it in 1 minute and 45 seconds. Anyone who plays the game, that's pretty good. So I'm feeling quite accomplished. There it is. Olivia just walked in. Winners. I know. I'm getting to it. Olivia, I need the winners. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I know it's not a huge thing. But, you know, everyone knows that I'm thinking about doing a gaming channel in the mornings. And, you know, doing the show and doing that type of stuff, of course, always. And the show will be number one. And I'm still going to put as much effort into it. But, you know, if I go work out and do my stuff and then I play an hour of video games, it wouldn't be bad streaming. And, you know, things like that are kind of cool. So anyway, we're getting the numbers. Olivia is bringing them to me, giving me the list. She is running a little bit behind. Hi. Can you do me a favor and bring me my Bible? It's not in my stack. You got the list for me? I already reset goals since you weren't here. No, you didn't. Didn't work. Okay. So can you grab my Bible, please? Thank you. Okay. Number 5 won a Red Friday mug. And I think it's a $15 gift card. So yeah, that's CJ Jenkins. Won in 5th place. Susan McGoran won the donor shirt, which is going to be the new design donor shirt, which is exciting. Debbie Boggs won a $30 gift card. That's what she wanted. She wanted her gift card. Jim Brown won a hoodie. And then Dawn Martin won the number 1 grand prize. Dawn Martin got everything and had the number 1 grand prize. So there it is. There are your winners, and pretty exciting stuff, man. Good stuff. Everyone participated. Everyone, I appreciate you so very much, and can't even begin to thank you for all the help you guys have given us over the years. So just a little bit of a way to give back. So those are the winners. And we'll be having more contests in the future. Don't you fret. And if you didn't win something now. So the new jacket will be designed by the 1st, and the new shirt will be designed by the 1st. And then those will be for sale, and also for the monthly contest starting in January. Okay? All right, everyone good? Everyone happy? Okay, maybe not happy, but there it is. Let's get into this. We got a lot to do, and it's going to be a busy, busy day. Once again, call-in numbers up if you want to call in. You want to talk to us and say hello. We love it. We'd love to hear from you, and appreciate you. Muy alato. Okay, so there's a couple things that have been going on. You guys remember the Fort Washuka incident, and Candace Owens, I told you guys literally 24 hours before she did it, that Candace Owens was going to start running proxy guests, because right after she got in touch with Erica Kirk, Erica, essentially all the talking points that Candace was doing, especially when they said no longer donate and give money to TPUSA, that's a big thing. And if she's going to go after her for libel and slander, they now have a dollar value of that slander, and it's $150 million. This would essentially bankrupt Candace and her husband, which wouldn't be a bad thing, I don't think. I think she needs a lesson in humility. She's a pseudo-Christian. She pretends to be Catholic. She's not. She's the farthest thing from it. Christianity is the entire religion is based on love. It's based on, did you lose my Bible? You can put it in there, please. I'm doing a show. I wanted to put it in. I don't like it empty behind me. And it's a Bible. And I don't understand what she's doing. And she can't.
Mom, can I have the Bible, please?
It's the same reason you have a crucifix around your neck. You know? And it's a Bible. It's my Bible. I want, can you just give it to me? I'll do it. She doesn't want to get on camera for 2 seconds. I mean, it's like, it's just let Hayden do it. She doesn't care. Thanks. Hi. I just wanted my Bible. I don't know. Isn't that a good thing? Okay. All right. I want my gun. I want my Bible. Do you?
We said together.
They should be said together. Are you done, Hayden? What's taking so long? You know, I almost didn't come on tonight, and it's looking like I shouldn't have. Hayden, hurry! I need you out of the shot. Okay, go close the screen. Get out of here. Did you show everyone your new bracelet?
Oh. Dad gave me a Christmas gift early.
So she got her Christmas gift early, and it's set. It's just hold it still. It's a cross, and then on her little medallion, it's her initial H. There it is.
Really cool.
Get out.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Okay. All right. So, so the moment that those lawyers and on the TPUSA lawyers showed up with Erica Kirk, they put Candace on notice. And the thing about libel and slander is you have to prove intent. One is that the person was doing it to be malicious and cause harm, financial harm, or, you know, whatever, especially in just a civil suit. The moment that they showed her the truth and the evidence, if she goes back to her show and says these things, then they can go ahead and hit her for libel and slander. So don't kid yourself. They put her on notice. And they basically said to her, if you continue to do this, the axe is going to fall. And that's why she went back and immediately apologized for, of course, because she's a coward. Immediately backpedaled when it came to the monies and said, well, that was, in retrospect, that probably wasn't the right thing to do. She's a chicken shit. And so remember, I told you she was going to run proxy. She was going to bring guests on who were unverified and have them say the things that she wanted to say, like Tucker does, so she can't be sued. And that's exactly what she did with this clown show from supposedly in Fort Washuka, which we found out a lot about this guy and who he is and exposed him. And now Candace is saying there is a police report that qualifies and quantifies her story because she has receipts. First of all, this would be a military police report since it was on Fort Washuka. And I just happen to spent 6 months TDY as a master at arms. So I know a little bit about military police reports because I had to go through the training to do it. And because I'm an anal retentive son of a bitch, I just happen to know what is right and what is wrong with this report. And I will tell you my thoughts, whether it's valid or not. I'll let you on a little secret. It's not. But we don't need to do that yet. We can build up the anticipation to this. Now, this conversation is going to start off with this. I was going through Charlie Kirk's stuff and some of his old videos. And this one struck me as being extremely poignant and relevant to what's been going on with Candace. And it really is Charlie from the grave condemning Candace Owens. Now, my job is not to destroy Candace Owens. My job is to give you the truth. And somewhere along the way, Candace Owens and Tucker and Megan and all of these people have lost their way about the truth. And all they're concerned about is pushing a narrative. And the cat's out of the bag. This isn't about Israel. This isn't about Netanyahu. This is about Jewish control of the media, Jewish donors, and Qatarian and Middle Eastern money coming into the United States at a higher clip than the Jews. And the Jews were winning the information war. And Muslims know, and Democrats know, to bring in a certain amount of money to counteract and contradict the Jewish sentiment in this country will divide the Republican Party apart. There is no doubt in my mind that's what's going on. And how you know this is because this is an information war. I want you to think about a time in history from the days of Paul Harvey and Walter Cronkite all the way up to the days of today with Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, and Tucker Carlson. I want you to think of a time that an entire group of people completely changed everything about themselves and systematically had the same shared opinion, and everything changed. Now, the Democrats talk about this with the great party switch, and when supposedly Republicans, the party of Lincoln, were the racists, and there was a great party switch. We all know this didn't happen. But things like that don't take place. Usually, deterioration of ideology takes generation. It's generational change. Now, the fastest one I can think of, one of the fastest that I can think of, is you can go back to Nazi Germany, and that 10-year period was a very, very rapid ascent to moving to an acceptable, thriving country pre-World War I to a neutered country after the Versailles Treaty in World War I, going into World War II. And that time between 1930 and 1938 was truly a remarkable political change of ideology that happened overnight. And there's a few things that you might need with that. You're going to need fear. You're going to need strength. And you're going to need desperation. And that desperation usually comes with someone to blame. And the one thing that the Nazis did very, very well was to randomly move through different groups of people to decide who they would blame. Now, at first, it was gypsies and nomadic people, vagrants, and then they moved into something a little bit different. They moved into the upper class, the elite class, and then associated that with the Jews. Now, the Jews were not just thrown into concentration camps. They were systematically targeted. They were removed from their homes, removed from their businesses in the upper class areas of Germany and Berlin, and moved into the slums and the dregs. And they were labeled. They were harassed. They couldn't cross the street without having some sort of NP move into their lives and into their pocketbooks and harass them. And then you saw the marking of the businesses and things to that effect with the gold stars. And then you saw, obviously, the shattering of businesses and rounding up of Jews. But it didn't stop there. And when you hear about Nazi Germany, you hear about 11 million people were summarily executed from the Nazis. But the question is, if it was 6 million Jews, who were the rest of the people? And this is the interesting point, is that it was Poles, it was Czechs, it was Germans, it was doctors, lawyers, teachers, theologians, people who would resist the Nazi regime and killing their own citizens and killing people who were foreigners on the land who would be sympathizers to Jews. And they wound up almost equally killing as many people as of Jewish descent as they did of European descent, and specifically Western Europe. So when you think about cultural shifts and cultural revolutions within people where things change like overnight, it doesn't happen very often. Even if you look at the MAGA movement, it took a good year and a half of Donald Trump hitting and scratching and clawing through the GOP and the primaries before people really took off. And honestly, the MAGA movement really didn't push until about 2017, after his presidency and after he was already in. And then it cratered. And in 2020, no matter what you believe about the election or anything else, it doesn't matter. Joe Biden was in office. How we got there is immaterial for this conversation. And you saw the MAGA movement still remain fairly strong, but it went through a change, and it's going through a change again. But to see literally overnight, October 6th, 2021, October 7th happens, and then October 8th, you have some very prominent people immediately change their disposition towards Israel. Almost overnight. And you remember we had talked about this, and I had told you what was coming with this. And I told you two things most assuredly were happening. Gazans, as far as Gazans knew their lives, was over. Man, woman, and child, and anything in between would be eradicated from Gaza after stiff warning of 30 to 45 days, wound up being 31 days. And they had all the warnings in the world. They had leaflets, they had white phosphorus. Willie Pete was being launched above buildings 300 feet up, so it didn't hurt anybody, even though the lies started then that Israel was launching Willie Pete on people, white phosphorus, which is not good to be hit with. And the lies began. And the second thing I told you is the world hates Jews, and you're about to find out, and everyone's going to let their mask slip. This also rang true. And how do I know this? Because I wasn't really with the Bible as much as I am now, but have read the Bible and know that not only is it foretold in the Bible that the world will turn against the Jews and Israel, Jerusalem, but also I've seen it before in history as I've studied the Jews, and they have been excommunicated from hundreds of different places because this is what happens. The Jews are always picked on. And the reason why is the Jews are very much like the Turks. They're very much like the gypsies in the sense that they have had to be vagabonds and move from country to country to find their home. Because as soon as they start to gain prestige and success, jealousy kicks in, and they're ultimately rooted out and removed. This isn't a surprise in the Middle East, because not only has it happened to Jews, it's happened to pretty much every group in the Middle East, because this is what the Middle East does, but especially to foreigners. If you don't believe me, look at Iran. Iran had brought, it was Persia before it was Iran. And although Persians were Arabs, they weren't Muslims. And when Persia was at its height of its success, now the success of Persia is up for much debate because it was predominantly done like every other major empire out there. It was done through bloodletting of innocents, but it's still, Persia was a great nation at one point. Maybe not to the people it conquered, but it certainly was. And they weren't happy once they went ahead and met Middle Europeans, especially Alexander the Great and others. But Persians, before Iran was founded, and Persia was fairly open to not Western civilization ideals, but trade and capitalism and bringing in different ethnicities, and started to open its doors and become a fairly civilized society compared to what we see now with Iran. And if you go back in Iran and you look pre-73 and pre-Ayatollah and pre-getting the Shah out, you would see that it was a democratic, fairly democratic, Western-influenced nation. And this is the problem when you got the Shahs and the clerics in, is it was taken over because England and the United States had much influence in Iran, but that's not the important part. The important part is Persia allowed a group of about 100 influential Muslims into Persia. These 100 turned into 1,000, these 1,000 turned into 10,000, and now Muslims have taken over Persia and is now Iran. This will show you that this is what happens in the Middle East, and it happens ad nauseum, and it's been happening for millennia. And the old adage in the Middle East is that if Arabs aren't killing Jews, they're killing each other. So why this long diatribe? Why this information? Because I want to show you that ideology rarely changes overnight. Rarely changes overnight. An example would be 9/11. And even though we didn't have an enemy to blame, and we weren't given the supposed enemy, which was Saudi Arabia, but a lot of people say it's the Jews, but that's ridiculous. But we weren't given our target. But once we were, there was one demographic that was hated more, and the United States, when it came to theology and overall disposition towards God, was always the Jews. And the Arabs were a distant second place, much distant second place. Like 20% of all religious hate crimes were towards Jews in the U.S. And then like 12% towards Christians, and then like 6% towards Arabs. But after 9/11, Arabs skyrocketed and Jews went down. And this relationship that the Bushes created between Saudi Arabia and Israel versus Iraq, versus the influence that Iran had with the Iran-Iraq war, and Saudi Arabia's involvement in that, Saudi Arabia became an ally, became where our valuation of our overall dollar was tied to, was the petrodollar. Our investments, our military weapons, everything were being sold. Our relationship with Saudi Arabia was extensive. So to break off a relationship with Saudi Arabia would have been foolish. And they also know that Israel was the one thing stopping Arabs from doing what Arabs always do, which is killing Arabs. So we backed Israel and we surrounded Iraq with two powerful nations, one with a nuclear power and one with the mightiest military in the Middle East. This, after long term, created stabilization in the Middle East after destabilizing it in an immense fashion. So you saw a big shift in ideology at that time. But since October 7th, you have seen millions of people who flirted with anti-Semitism. And I think anti-Semitism has become the word like racism. Let's just call it what it is. It's not anti-Semitism. It's not anti-Zionist. It's not, it's simply hating and blaming the Jews for everything. And there are a serious group of people who have been doing that for 2 years, and they are making a shit ton of money off of it. This clip from Charlie Kirk, Long Way Around the Barn, really expresses how he felt about Candace before, during, and after his assassination. And if he was alive today and he's watching down from above, and we believe that that takes place, I promise you he's thinking these same things, because this is what he created his entire platform on. Listen to this. Tell me what you think.
It is very tempting to engage in, let's just say, deep internet theories that quite honestly are rooted in lunacy.
Sigmund Freud was a Kabbalist. They are trying to use psychology to make their religion the religion of the world.
And we see this with the Jew hatred, where people think that they're onto something, but in reality, they're not.
The nation of Israel may have been established by some Frankists.
This particular affliction blames the Jews for everything.
Drugs, prostitution, sex pornography. We Jews love pornography.
You're going out of your way to try to create this big web of connections. It's the Jews, and it's the Jews, and it's the Jews.
Who is in control of the White House? And Nick Fuentes wrote a one-word response: Jews.
You want to talk about low IQ, blaming an entire group for all of your problems.
These 6 individuals that I am showing you were the most murderous. Of those individuals, the majority of them were Jews.
Anyone with a decent moral compass should reject the scapegoating of Jews.
Jewish people were the ones that were trading us. Jewish people were in control of the slave trade.
Your obsession with this group of people is so unhealthy.
Where did the
Jews own slaves just like the rest of the world, but to say that they even resembled a modicum of the overall number of slave ownership, which came to like 1.1% of the entire slave market, is an absolute fallacy. It's an absolute blatant lie. The United States and England were 2 of the largest slave owners in the world, but this goes back to Arab countries too. We can go back to Persia. You can go back to the original Saudi Arabia. You can go down to Jordan. You can go to UAE. You can go to Egypt. And some of these weren't even around during those times. The entire Middle East was a slave market. And Middle Europe would sell their people to Arabs in slavery as a way of profit. They would do it for a way of sport. And to sit here and say that the Jews, who have always been slaves, they wouldn't have the means or the power of control during the slave trade days to be the leaders of the slave market. They were always castigated out of every country. Isn't it always amazing that the Jews are responsible for everything, yet they have been castigated out of every single civilization that they've ever entered, or been conquered, or pushed out, or removed? Well, explain to me how they constantly run everything if they're always running from everything. It doesn't make sense. It's just, it's exactly what Charlie Kirk is trying to say. You can't, and Ben Shapiro tried to say it last night. The difference is when Charlie Kirk said it 2.5, 3 years ago, he was a hero. Ben Shapiro said it last night, and he was a dirty Jew. Listen to me when I say this, a dirty Jew. And that's what they're all doing. And she is one step away from calling him a dirty Jew. And I got a video where she pretty much does. It's no longer about Israel. It's no longer about Zionism. It's now dirty Jews need to go. Lost audio.
Where did the idea of a concentration camp come from? Who created those gulag systems? The majority of them were Jewish men.
You
The
think
synagogue
Israel
of
is
Satan.
the synagogue
The
of
synagogue
Satan.
of Satan.
This is a synagogue of Satan, powerful group of elites.
The Israeli government does not do everything right, but they're not to blame for all of the world's ills either.
It was just convenient for Israel that JFK got shot. It was convenient for Israel, by the way, when the towers went down.
Israel
That's fair,
did
I'm sorry.
9/11 is a rather anti-Semitic thing to say.
The Israelis that were working at the World Trade Center who were forewarned of
Bullshit.
the attack.
Complete lie.
Anti-Semitism is literally...
Like, God, I know it's Christmas and I'm supposed to be, man, this woman just drives me up the fucking wall. And it's not her. I don't care about her millions. I don't care about her success. I care about the people that she is lying to who believe her slop, her pig-infested fucking slop of trough food that makes people dumber. I'm sorry about my language, but I am so freaking sick of this. Wait till you hear what she said about Shapiro.
A brain rot that stops your ability to think independently.
Jewish people. Jewish men, they are Jewish. Jews.
And instead of pointing at a small group of people and engaging in this brain rot, become a better person. You'll be a happier and healthier, more joyful and productive person, but because of it.
I wish I couldn't get frustrated. I wish I couldn't get upset, but I don't have a choice. This is who I am. This is how I'm built. And a choice has to be made here. Am I saying Ben Shapiro's perfect? Man, I've hit Ben Shapiro plenty. When I look at Ben Shapiro, I don't see a Jew. This is the problem. That's all you see. But Ben Shapiro started this. Ben Shapiro started this before Charlie, started this before Crowder. Ben Shapiro, as a young kid, just rose up in the conservative movement and created a culture marathon that turned into an epic movement. And for people to turn on him like they're turning, I mean, it is ridiculous. And now they're turning on Charlie because Charlie said these things. Now they're trying to rip out Charlie's name and say because he had a $2 million donor move away from him, he got upset and felt like the Jews were influencing him and peddling him and controlling him. I get it. I've had vendors. I've had sponsors. It sucks when they do that. Of course he's upset. But does that mean that Charlie? No, because literally the day before, 2 days before he died, and 7 days before he died, he called Candace Owens, in not so many words, a demon. And went on and talked about how much he loved Netanyahu and also wrote a dissertation, 7 pages, of what the Jews needed to do because they were losing the information war on social media. You don't go and help people who you're condemning and moving away from. It's just a ridiculous notion. Now, here's Candace Owens. And this is abhorrent. I'm just gonna tell you, it's not. This is no longer a game. This is no longer a B cult. This is no longer Britney Spears. It's no longer Egyptian airplanes. It's no longer her going ahead and exposing where the Egyptian airplanes are coming from, and it's actually her lawyer's office who works with and with other intelligence agency groups. At this point, I'm kind of with Tim Pool. I don't think Candace Owens is a psyop. I don't think Candace Owens is a deep state plant. I think Candace Owens is having the effect of all of those things by what she's doing. I think she is literally sowing distrust between the GOP and its constituents that was already there and, might I add, had nothing to do with Candace Owens. The inactivity, the ineffectiveness of the GOP to hold anyone accountable for the things that have happened, from COVID, from a J6 pipe bomber, to Donald Trump's assassination attempts, to the election. We can go on and on and on. Where are the arrests? Like, people are disenfranchised and they're sick of our money going to Ukraine and, yes, going to Israel too. And honestly, I understand it. I agree with everything they're saying. We are on the precipice, 13 trillion away from being over the fiscal cliff. 50 trillion has always been the number, and it continues to get closer and closer because of our spending. I'm with it. I understand. I'm down. I'm hip. I get it. I still think that you can't have America only. America first is fine, but isolationism is not going to work. We learned this in World War I. We learned this in World War II. And if you think that China isn't a bigger threat than the Germans, you're an idiot. And you have no idea what you're talking about. Because their idea is to run the global economy. And if they run the global economy, then the United States is replaced. And if the United States gets replaced, then that means no more defense. And if it means no more defense and we can't continue to go ahead and spend the money on defense that we're spending, then that means eventually we will become Russia. We will become a razor blade and rust fleet. And when that happens, then it's anybody's ball game to decide, you know what, let's go ahead and take a shot at the United States. So in the long term, they're a bigger threat than the Germans. This video makes my stomach turn. Folks, it's going to be a good show. It's been rough on the donations. We understand that you guys came through in a really big time last night. Last Friday we struggled, hoping we can hit it. So if you have a chance, Ethan's on donations tonight, and I know he would love to put him in for you. So if you wouldn't mind, here is Candace Owens, and this face says it all. And if this doesn't literally turn your stomach, because there's no talk of Israel here, the mask's off. We're not talking about Israel. We're not talking about Netanyahu. We're talking about Jews. And this woman spends 4 minutes tearing down Ben Shapiro, her former boss, who gave her a massive contract, and her job is to destroy Ben Shapiro, even though every single person who's ever hired Candace has fired her. She is now going to try to destroy Ben Shapiro. And I'm asking you, what are you going to do about it? Listen.
I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew, and I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them.
Since the woman is just a chronic liar and always just, whenever her mouth is, how do you know Candace Owens is lying? Her mouth is open. He's an Orthodox Jew. Okay? He's an Orthodox Jew. He studies and he observes Jewish law. We talked about this, and Jewish law does pull from the Talmud. But it's not a formal or standard religious category. I don't understand why she would continue to say that. Ben Shapiro understands that there are relevancies in the Bible, and then there's relevancies of what men interpret the Bible to be. And the Talmud was written by 2 rabbis. And the whole point that they make is that they believe that Jesus Christ is floating in a lake of feces in hell. Please understand is that there is absolutely no reference in the Talmud that Jesus Christ himself, this is the interpretation of people. Now, is the Talmud something that I would follow? No, but I won't follow the Old Testament either, which is where we get Judeo-Christian ethics from, and it's predominantly written by the Jews. And if you remember, Jesus was a Jew, okay? There are things in all religions that people should repudiate. But the look on this woman's face, she's fucking evil, man. And I don't understand how Christians can follow this level of hate. I'm baffled by it. I don't understand it. Look at her. You could just look at, but people are so angry and they're so upset. They want someone to hate. They're looking for someone to hate, and this person is a false prophet. This person is going to tear us apart, as we've already been torn asunder. That the fabric of our belief in this government, in these parties, in this system of futility is already anorexic thin. This woman is literally taking a stomach pump to this. She's tearing it apart. Joanne Townsend, $10. Thank you for starting it off. Happy 28th birthday to my son, James. Love you, bud. We love you too. Happy birthday, James. Happy birthday.
That they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Good.
Charlie Kirk quoted this. You know, it's amazing. It's like a lot of these people have never even listened to Charlie. Charlie Kirk was quoted as saying the three things that he does. And I believe I have this right. He reads Thomas Sowell. He watches Ben Shapiro. And he listens to Jordan Peterson. I believe that's the quote. I know Peterson and Shapiro for sure. And it may have been Rush Limbaugh. But it doesn't matter. What Charlie was saying is these are the three voices that I trust. I can show you a video of Charlie and Ben talking, and there was massive amount of respect for each other. And it does not matter that the Daily Wire and TPUSA, there was plenty to go around for everybody. So for her to sit here and say that Ben Shapiro and Charlie didn't have a good relationship, it's bollocks.
Bye, Ben. Goodbye. Question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, where he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature.
That's not what happened.
One of these belly creatures, sliver on.
You call him a snake. Why don't you call him a dirty rat? Why don't you call him vermin? Why don't you just embrace the Nazi vernacular and just call him a kike? Call him a dirty Jew. This is what you want to say. Just say it. It's the new nigger word. Just say it, Candace. As there's a lot of white people that want to say the word nigger. Just call him a dirty fucking Jew. Just say it. Everybody knows you feel it. And I would have more respect for her if she would just say it. Because that's exactly what she's saying. You're just like Anna Kasparian, who's using the ringing handing Jew that Goebbels and the comics of the Nazis put up all over Bolshevik Russia, put over all over Germany, to create this image of the Jew of being rats, being vermin. Oh, Matt, you can't say that word. Yes, I fucking can. Because this is exactly what it is. She just won't say it. For a black person to sit there and pretend that she doesn't understand what she's doing and what she's saying. Supposedly you understand racism better than everybody. What you're doing is exactly the same thing. This is the new N-word. Just call him a dirty, greedy, money-hungry Jew. Fuck, I can't stand her.
Question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant? Open-ended question. Of course, what followed Ben Shapiro on stage is somebody who Charlie Kirk loved very much and who he fought for to the very end against the Jewish donors who were pressuring him, some of them because Ben Shapiro insisted that they do. That is Charlie Kirk's true legacy, and that is Charlie Kirk's true friend, just as
this woman has no idea what Charlie Kirk's true legacy is. Did Charlie Kirk defriend people? No. He did not appreciate Candace. Do I know Charlie Kirk? No, I don't. But all you got to do is listen to his show. All you got to do is listen to his interviews, listen to his stage presence in town halls, is he did not approve of Candace Owens. Just the fact that she wasn't at the memorial, just the fact that Erica Kirk disdains her, just the fact that everyone has castigated her out except for the people who also hate Jews. Notice how it's Evan Kilgore and Stu Peters. Even Nick Fuentes thinks that she's a crazy frickin' psycho and says, lady, I'm not a big fan of Israel, but you just hate Jews. And that's something that Nick even won't do. I mean, if Nick Fuentes is calling you out, then you gotta be bad. Ben Shapiro did not steal Breitbart. He didn't try to steal Breitbart. He was working at Breitbart News. He was an editor. He was a columnist. I used to read his stuff every single day. 2016, he was against Trump. He resigned. He didn't like where Breitbart was going. He didn't wage a campaign against the outlet. He didn't attempt to take over. He didn't sabotage it. When Breitbart died, He believed the outlet's leadership and tone changed. He didn't like the way it was going. He wasn't a Trump supporter. Hey, either was I in 2016. Corey Lewandowski and the charges that went against him, he didn't like the way that they went ahead and handled that. He said the site was prioritizing political alignment over editorial standards. He criticized Breitbart's direction, but he left peacefully and created his own company. Not in contradiction of Breitbart, but exactly in line with to bring conservative values to Americans. And guess what? Throughout that entire time, Ben was wrong about everything. Ben was wrong about Trump. Ben was wrong about COVID. Ben was wrong about J6. Ben was wrong about the elections. Ben was wrong about a lot of things, and I called him out for it. But he also stood fervently for pro-life, for small government, for religious values, to stop religious persecution for Christians and Jews, called endlessly for Israel to stand on its own and stop taking money from the United States and stop influencing U.S. politics. This is a Jew who's doing that. Ben Shapiro is not an advocate for Israel to be beholden to the United States and believes that they should be their own sovereign nation and own country. These are lies. Here's the rest.
I was and am and will continue to fight and ask questions about who killed Charlie Kirk. And to people that are at home.
Tyler fucking Robinson. That's who killed Charlie Kirk as of now. And he is innocent until proven guilty. But the evidence is, in my understanding, what they call an orgy of evidence. And it's self-incriminating. It's not like they found the candlestick in the library with Professor Plum. That's not what happened. It's not like they all of a sudden just like found a bucket of DNA from Tyler Robinson mailed to their front door and it was conveniently spread all over OJ's property. The orgy of evidence they talk about is self-inflicted damnation, text messages, private communications, but on different platforms, phone calls, recorded videos, open conversations with the friend of the family who was the police, not pastor, but a friend of the family who also knew the police departments, who kind of segued the conversation between Tyler Robinson's father and him. DNA evidence of epic proportions. In my understanding, and I have a relationship with the U.S. Marshals, and everyone knows that's one of the groups that I talk to. It's my understanding that the evidence is so insurmountable that there has to be a public trial for this. Cameras must be allowed because they need to end her. Not because of what she says, because of what she doesn't say. I don't believe in the institution of journalism anymore. I don't believe in the institution of government and politics either. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that credibility isn't important. Lori says, wait. Okay, I will. Lori says, so you are going on how Candace is hateful, yet you are accusing her of being evil. I'm not accusing her. I'm downright saying she's evil. Why? Because others are being facts to the table, and we know that Charlie was surrounded. What facts? Charlie was surrounded by a bunch of Judas and fake, horrible actress of a wife. If you have no ounce of discernment and sense, you can see through this lie. What evidence do you have of this? I can show you videos of her children's birth. I can show you videos of them taking their vows. I can show you videos of them walking on the beach. I can show you her words as she forgave Tyler Robinson. I can show you the relationship that her and Charlie built and how he coveted her and she coveted him. Who are you And who is Candace to decide what's in Erica Kirk's heart? You call yourself a Christian? Awfully judgy for a Christian. I'm sorry, I will call out evil when I see it, and I will call it out when I recognize it. And Candace Owens, most assuredly, based upon everything I've shown on this show for the last 3 years, in my opinion, is the embodiment of evil. Anyone who is trying to destroy her good friend, everything that he created, the legacy that he created, and trying to destroy everyone around her. So let me make sure I understand this, lady. You believe that Ben Shapiro, you believe that Charlie Kirk, you believe that Erica Kirk, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, Dan Bongino, Donald J. Trump, J.D. Vance, Mitch Ratcliffe, Brandon Tatum, Damani Felder, me, PPD Podcast, and countless others. We're the problem? And Candace is the only one right. Candace is the only one who can handle this investigation. She's the Messiah. So now you're believing in false prophets. So I question you again. Your definition of Christianity, I find suspect. Jesus was a Jew, and that's why they were God's chosen people. They were to teach the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Israeli government, Ben Shapiro, etc., what Jesus referred to as a den of thieves. Yeah, it's interesting that you say that. Yet Jesus' message always is that we were not worthy of his praise, of his forgiveness, of accepting the sins. Jesus stands in front of God before us so we can be pure, so we can be sinless. And that is why we will be accepted into heaven, is through the gaze of God through Jesus, because he died for our sins. Yet you condemn Ben Shapiro for his sin? You condemn, I just laid out what Ben Shapiro's done wrong over the last 4 years. Why don't you call in, lady, 276-200-2105. Let's put your money where your mouth is. Stop spam texting and pick up the phone. Let's have that conversation. Lay out and be articulate 100% and provide evidence that Erica Kirk and TPUSA had something to do with Charlie Kirk's assassination. Lay it out for us. Show us. Prove me wrong. I dare you. I dare you. You won't have the courage. You won't have the courage. Pick up the phone. See, the problem is, Lori, is that you don't have any evidence. Candace Owens hasn't been able to prove one iota of what she says. You bought into the Egyptian planes. Did you buy into Britney Spears? Did you buy into the palm gun? Did you buy into the trapdoor? Did you buy into the Kash Patel thing? Did you buy into the Dan Bongino thing? That it was the deep state, that it was the Jews, that it was the French? Because she said that. She also said it was the Egyptians. Let me ask you a question. Who hasn't she accused? Lori, I don't think you have the balls to call this show. You're getting mad now. See, this is what people do. This is what libbies do. You're like a lefty. Look at you. Look at your hatred for Jews. How many Jews do you know? How many Jews do you have a conversation with? How did Jews hurt you? Listen to these words. You're just like her. Your theory about that since little bitch Ben Shapiro. The hateful little wimpy, he is Jewish and so is Jesus. That's totally retarded and doesn't make it okay for America to be supporting Israel. You don't even know why America supports Israel. You don't even understand that it calls for it in the Bible that you pretend to read. Let alone the geopolitical advantages of having Mossad, which is a $6 billion investment that saves us about $3 billion a year from the intelligence apparatus that they provide. And yes, they did provide us with a lot more than you guys say they did. And how do I know that? Because I promise you I know more about Israeli intelligence than you do. And I'll go ahead and list those facts if you call, but you're too much of a coward. Coward. You're not smart enough to call in. You're not strong enough to call in. You're just a coward. Lori, the phone number's here, 276-200-2105. I dare you to call. I bet I'll have you screaming within 2 minutes. And it sounds like you could use a good scream. So you came in here that Candace was just bringing receipts to. Holy fucking shit. You sound like a Third Reich Aryan nation Nazi. The Jews are not God's chosen. It's not DNA, but spiritual. These Zionist Jews have the ignorant American Zionist Christians have people like you so fooled. Book of Galatians explains God chosen. Yet this bitch is nuts. You must be Candace Owens' sister. Holy shit.
I implore you to wake up to these people who believe that they are contract lords. I challenge Black Americans to wake up to your true history, because your quarrel is not with white men, okay? Wake up to who publishes these books and keeps us warring with one another. Christians versus Christians, right? Christians versus Muslims. Wake up and learn the true history of slavery, because that wasn't exactly a white men sport, okay? Jewish people were the ones that were trading us. Jewish people were in control of the slave trade. They've buried a lot of it.
No, they weren't.
But it's there.
No, it's not.
And you can find it.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
I think all of us need to wake up to this, because it's making me absolutely sick. That he is so bold. He dare sit near Charlie Kirk's chair, that he dare grace that stage.
Dare.
When Charlie Kirk knew exactly what...
Dude, this woman is so bitter that nobody wanted her there. So bitter. Nobody wanted her there. Why wasn't she at the memorial? Why wasn't she invited to speak? Why did they have to bring their lawyers to a conversation and put her on notice that if she didn't stop trying to stop the processing of funds for TPUSA and its fundraising efforts, that they were going to sue her into oblivion? Why is the entire French government suing her when she thinks that a woman is not a woman, even though she has photos of her pregnancy? She has DNA evidence. She's already taken all the tests. She's waiting for disclosure, and she will absolutely destroy Candace Owens. But it's funny, an 11-part series that Brigitte Macron has a dick. And this is the person you guys have decided to go ahead and uplift to be the prosecutor of prosecutorial goddesses. This is the woman who's qualified. Yeah, not the Utah State Police. Not the U.S. Marshals. Not the FBI. But Candace fucking Owens. You people are idiots. You people are the reason Nazis got into power. You're the reason why the left got into power. You are absolutely fucking nuts. Just nuts. Okay. All right. This bitch is gone. Goodbye. See ya. Whew. Lori is a wacko. Here's the thing. Is that when you listen to that, I'm going to show you this. And I'm going to show you this hateful little man, Ben Shapiro, this hateful little man. Here it is. Man, I haven't used the word bitch so much in a long time. Here is Ben Shapiro on with Matt Walsh. And Candace Owens' accusation is that Ben Shapiro gave $1 million to TPUSA to weasel his way in to the chair. There is no way to go ahead and assume that's the case, because we can't go back in time and have him not donate. But you'll see Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, and Ben Shapiro. That is the Daily Wire, all represented there. If you think Ben Shapiro was not going to sit in that seat and have a conversation, you're absolutely wrong. Here's his words versus Candace's lies.
I know we at Daily Wire, we trust you at TPUSA to do.
Holy crap. It's almost 12:30. Folks, I can't play this anymore. I gotta show a video. I'm so sorry. We can't, $10. We can't do it. I got to show the donation video and hope that there's people out there that love the show and want to keep it going. Here we go. Wrong one. Sorry about that.
Welcome to the Dumb Show Christmas giveaway. $25 entries, no limit.
It's blowing up.
With a grand prize that is absolutely amazing.
Let's try that again.
Don't worry, if you entered in any of our other contests, you'll have 1 entry and 5 chances to win.
I'm going to try one more time. Sorry about that, folks. Can I find it? There it is.
Hi, I'm Olivia Spear, host of The Dumb Show. For 3.5 years, we never asked for donations, but after Facebook demonetized us for speaking the truth, we've had to turn to the one thing big tech can't cancel: you.
I'm Hayden, Matt and Olivia's daughter. This show's never chased sponsors or sold out. We've built something honest, and it's thanks to you.
I'm Ethan, their son. Every share, every dollar, every message, you're the reason we can keep calling out the BS and bringing color back to the world going gray.
If you want to help, we take PayPal, Venmo, or snail mail. You can send it to P.O. Box 2, Round Hill, Virginia 20142.
Can't donate? No problem. Just share the show with someone who needs to hear it.
Thanks for helping us stay loud, proud, and completely uncensored. You can donate at thedumbshow.com/donate.
You know what happens when you turn the dial harder? You can make a harder grimace. The harder you grimace, the more effective it is.
You tighten it so freaking I can't do it. I can't untighten
That's
it.
what she said.
That's what she's. Oof. Oof. Coming in with it. Pound it. Pound it. Pound. This is
Child
for you.
15.
Ethan, you look like a hippie.
Totally tubular.
You know this is recording, right?
Okay, let's go. Smile. Donate. Don't start with me. Donations. Every time you don't smile, I'm going to punch you in the ribs. Donations. Take one. Scene one. Ready. Set. Ethan.
Break.
Ready. Don't screw it up.
Okay.
Ethan, don't mess this up. Ready. Set. Action. No. Whoa. Director calls action, not some stupid toddler.
But we've built something
There's no but there. Why do you've been doing this since you were 2 years old. Try it again.
Just share the show with someone who needs to hear it.
He's so much better than you at everything.
He's better at
Hayden, he's just like, even, it's just, go ahead, Hayden.
Thanks for helping us stay loud, proud, and completely uncensored.
That's a wrap. Well done, Spear family. I bet we make no money.
But I'm going to owe them money without.
Hayden, do your thing again.
Oh yeah, cut it.
Baby shark doo 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 doo.
Yes, thank you for your support, especially tonight, folks, when we are at $10. I can't do it. Can't do it. Got to keep the show going, folks. Got to find a way to do it. I know it's hard. Anything helps, whether it's $1, $5, $10, doesn't matter. We appreciate your help, and would really be nice if we could get that going, especially on a night. Listen, we understand it's Christmas for you. It's Christmas for us, too. I'd much rather be with my family right now, but we're trying to do the show, and we came on tonight so we could go ahead and give you a good show. We hope you at least appreciate with a like, follow, and share. That would mean a lot. And when you have idiots like that lady call in, my God, I need a bottle of whiskey. It's not that you have a different opinion. It's the fact that you're an idiot. It's really all it is. It's that you have no facts. All you're doing is just repeating what Candace owns. It's all speculative. And I just proved to you, and if you'd like me to go through the numbers of the slave trade, I can. I mean, you're talking about the Saharas, you're talking about West Africa, you're talking about a minutia. Predominantly, most of the slave traders were Spaniards, were Moroccans, were Northern Africans. This is the truth. The Jews did not own the slave market, but they don't. They own slaves. Of course they own slaves. Oh, we got a caller. Let's hope it's her. Hi, caller. This is the Donut Friendly Show. What's your name?
It is not her. This is Elizabeth.
Oh, okay. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Well, I wanted to say something. Candace Owens, let me kind of get this turned down. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
But what it is I took African American history, and just a minute. Let me get
if
this
you're
turned
going to
down.
talk about the slave trade, I just talked about it, Elizabeth. Go ahead and make your point.
Okay, well, I'm not just talking about the slave trade as far as that goes, but African Americans have always had issues with themselves.
Okay.
Studying it under Dr. Marvin Delaney. Okay, just a second. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get I did not realize it was this loud.
It's okay. But if you're talking about, are you talking about the North African slave trade, Elizabeth? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, that's part of it, but part of it is the fact that no matter how long, no matter where they've been, and they've always turned on themselves.
I understand. What does this have to do with what we're talking about, though?
Well, Candace Owens is African American.
Yes, she is.
And she needs to go back and study her own history. She is not she's not to be trusted.
Well, why? Because she's black?
No.
That's what you
because
just
of the
said.
fact that, well, I'm sorry it came out that way.
Okay.
Why she is not to be trusted is because she does not have her facts together. Dr. Marvin Delaney from UT of Arlington, and he also taught at other universities, would tell you that it is not the Jews that are the problem. They did it to themselves. The African Americans did it to themselves.
Right.
And Candace Owens is right out of, she doesn't know anything. She doesn't know her own history. She has completely gone off base, as you've been saying. I've been sitting here agreeing with everything you've been saying, but I'm tired of the fact that we're giving her any credence because she's already proven herself to be a liar and basically an idiot.
Well, listen, you're not going
in
to
my
get,
opinion.
You're not going to get. That's okay. You're not going to get an argument from me. Candace Owens doesn't understand a lot about much. She's a surface level thinker. She only investigates the bare minimum to go ahead and qualify her own biases. And listen, her supporters, I think there's a lot of probably great people who watch Candace, and I'm not going to lump them all into one area. But I will tell you, a very large portion of her audience is very much like the Antifa from the left is our right. These are the people who absolutely have no free thought. They have groupthink. There's no critical thinking skills, and they have a hive mind mentality, and it's very much like the left. Candace Owens, in my opinion, if you listen to her, it doesn't matter what it is. She cannot have a conversation with anybody. She immediately results to, like I just did, name calling, because that's the thing that she survives in. Is it doesn't matter how many times you dispute her fact. It doesn't matter how many times you show evidence. Like, I'm going to break down this. I got to go do this. I got to do this police report, but I'll show you exactly how Candace Owens is lying right now. So Elizabeth, I appreciate the call. We've got to go ahead and get some donations here and make it worth it tonight. And I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. See you, Elizabeth. Anyone else can call in. We appreciate Elizabeth. She calls in all the time. We love her to death. Here's the thing. I'm going to play the rest of this Ben Shapiro thing. And I want you to watch it just so you can understand. That's everything she said. She talked about the slave trade. She talked about the Bolshevik Revolution. She talked about 9/11. She talked about the dancing Jews. We've done all these things, okay? We've put these things to bed. But here's Ben Shapiro in his own words, live on TPUSA, saying exactly why he donated the money. Just listen to it. Thank God Don Martin donated $5. Thank you, Don. That makes me feel like we're actually doing something on the show and we're worthwhile to people. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Don. Here's the video.
I know we at Daily Wire, we trust you at TPUSA to do it. I mean, that's really the answer. We're willing to provide, and we are providing any level of material support, any level of support on the program, boots on the ground, helping you to do what Charlie would have wanted to be done here. And I think that the reason that everybody
Paul
trusts
Rivera comes in and saves the day. $52.99. Thank you, Paul. Merry Christmas, Spear family, and all the Dumb family. Thank you so much, Paul. That means the world to us. We appreciate you.
Charlie, the reason we're all mourning Charlie is because nobody did it better. You spelled out two of Charlie's goals. You said, he wanted to bring people back to Christ and bring people back to church and back to biblical values. And he wanted to keep the MAGA coalition together.
And expand it.
And the question is how you do that. And the answer is you focus on the first, and the second is a byproduct. Okay, the answer is that, as Matt says, you have to unite around something. And yeah, we can unite in the short term around the fact that there are a bunch of people who hate our guts and want to murder us, which of course is true. But long-term unity, big movement change, which is what Charlie was really trying to drive, and why he went to talk to people who disagree, is about building around those core values. And so the long-term vision, yeah, we'll have our petty squabbles, and yeah, some of those squabbles will be more than petty, but the long-term vision has to be built around those.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you for always coming through for us in the clutch. $51.99. We appreciate you. Thank you, Mel.
Original biblical conservative values that Charlie stood for, things like the Bible, things like free markets, things like family, all those things are things Charlie stood for. You got to build the coalition around values, because we can't build it around the man, but we can build it around the values that he left behind and that he spent his entire life fighting for. And, we couldn't be, frankly, more honored to join you guys as much as we can in the fight.
Thank you for that. And thank you for donating the Daily Wire $1 million. Breaking news on this show. Thank you guys for honoring Charlie so well today.
Maybe if he only would have given $10, his opinion would be valid. Elaine Benjamin says, and I want to be clear with something. I have no problem having a conversation with people. But when you say something and I give you the time of day, on this show, and then you say something and I prove you wrong and say, no, that's not true. What would be good is you say, you know what, you're right. I misspoke on that. But instead, you move right to the next thing, and then right to the next thing, and right to the next thing. And then you start essentially sounding just like Candace. As, why don't you call Ben Shapiro a jigger? Why don't you do it? And I know who the person is, and I don't even care. Because this is the mentality that this person has. And we know this. And how do I know this? Because I'm smarter than this person, and they're still a coward, and they're afraid to call. They always are, because the last time it was absolutely fucking embarrassing. Of course it would be the exact same way. Of course it would. It's so easy to out people like this. Let's get into this comment that was made about Fort Washuka. Arnold Baker, $25. Merry Christmas. Thanks for being a man of honor. Arnold, thank you so much. I mean that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. And thank you for meaning it. That means the world to me. Elaine Benjamin says the following. As an American Jew, I can tell you it's scary, aggravating, and frustrating to hear the crap she spews. Tucker and Nick Fuentes, they make us unsafe. I truly appreciate you telling the truth. I'm disabled, so I can't afford to donate, but I definitely shared your life. You don't have to donate. It's okay. It's okay, and we appreciate it. We really do. It's not a guilt trip. It's just to say there's people out there, and got to keep it going, man. And what happens is when one person does it, everyone does. So we appreciate you. I don't think that Tucker and Nick Fuentes make you unsafe. I don't. And I'm going to argue with you on that, Elaine. I think people not standing up to them and calling them out for their lies, that's what makes you unsafe. Because it gives them the permission to do it again. It gives permission, like the person who was faking to be a woman on our show. Yeah, we know who it was. Of course we know who it was. But it's okay because it adds to the show. I will always entertain the troll. But the funny thing is, it's only one troll. We don't have trolls because they're scared just like he is. But he is our biggest fan and we love him. Anonymous donated $50, helping Matt's time be worthwhile. P.S. Matt, I'm that 25-year female officer you don't think should have that position. That's not what I said. I'm not going to allow you to say that. That's not what I said. I never said you shouldn't have that position. I said it shouldn't be necessary. And if that came across that I was saying that you shouldn't, well, that's not what I meant. I just worry, and I've seen too many women in hospitals after guys have decided to go ahead and do things that are not what a man should do. And I just think there's enough guys to serve in the military, and there's enough guys to be cops. And I understand that women want to serve, but I just don't agree with frontline service. I don't think women should be in battle, and I certainly don't think they should be on the front line of traffic. It's just me. Sandra Casey, thank you, Mr. Matt. I love when you talk about the history. People can understand more. God bless. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you, Sandra. I love you. I'm sorry if that came across as sexist. It's chivalry. It's not sexism. It comes from a place of chivalry. I don't want my daughter to be a cop. I don't want my daughter to go in the military. But if my daughter goes to be a cop and be in the military, I'm going to give her all the support in the world. And I know you're just ribbing me a little bit, but yeah. Patricia Good donated $51.99 to have a Merry Christmas. I did say, except for Tina Savage. Okay, so let's get into it. I probably shouldn't have said it. I knew I shouldn't have said it that night. But it did come from a place of chivalry, I promise you. All right, so Fort Washuka. This is pretty important. We got a lot to do tonight. And thank you guys for donating because it allows me to go ahead and focus on that versus this. There's so much here. I have got so much on this topic. CJ Jenkins donated $51.99. Merry Christmas to all. God bless you as well. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, CJ. We love you to death. Okay, whole bunch to cover. Here is... I'm almost I'm sorry. I'm trying to find it. Oh, shit. Where did it go? Okay, I got it. We're going to wrap up this Candace Owens. Gregory Harrison donated 25. Merry Christmas, family. Good tidings. I feel like I'm George Bailey right now. Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls. Merry Christmas, you broken down savings and loan. Thank you, George Bailey. That was Hayden. Okay. Jennifer McCarver donated $15. Appreciate all you do for us, Matt. No, I love you guys too. Appreciate it. Okay, here's Alex Jones. And if Alex Jones is the voice of reason, holy shit, we're in trouble. Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones are based. Listen, I got to give it to Alex Jones. Is that he doesn't seem as crazy as he used to. And he's hard on the Jews. He's hard on Israel. There's no doubt. But he ain't going to take Candace Owens doing this. And if Alex Jones is calling you out, you're toast. Here it is.
So people are saying to me, oh, you don't want to look at accomplices. You don't want to investigate. That's not what I said. The Egyptian plane thing, we went and had it checked. Others did. We put out the findings. Was complete horsepucky. And now this new guy.
Kat Alkire, $10. A very Merry Christmas to the Dumb Nation and the Spirit family. Love you all. Thank you, Kat.
Up. So he's on Fort Huachuca in Arizona and goes into a room with 12 colonels and all these people and the head of TPUSA security. And you go look, all Grok has is stuff he's claimed. I've been gang stalked. I've been this. I've been held prisoner in a garage and beat with hammers and, you know, and yet all this craziness. They don't decide to kill you.
Do some impressions. Oh, you know, maybe.
Day before.
Maybe Christmas Eve. Olivia and I were talking about not coming on. We'll be on Christmas Eve, at least for an hour. Maybe I'll do some impersonations then. Or Jimmy Stewart.
We're at Fort Huachuca, and a guy randomly walks in, and there's 12 colonels in a room, and Erica Kirk's there. And she didn't say Erica.
Yeah, and then he donated $1. Just so we would know it was him. Like we didn't know it was him anyway, because every time it's about Jews, he melts down like a little twat. And he can't get on Facebook anymore, so he has to come on YouTube, so it's easier to find him. And he's like, haha, you thought I was this person, but it wasn't me. Yes, it is. It's always you. It's always, our show isn't big enough to have multiple trolls. That's your outage right there. Plus, you hate Jews. You just demonstrated it. And what's great is they get you to melt down. It's just like when you called in with Leroy and I fucking embarrassed you. I mean, it was like, dude, it was like Eminem with epilepsy. It was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I love the guy. Call in, keep it. I love it when you hate me. I'm in your head, dude. I own you. It's like the slave trade. I own you. I might as well be Jewish. And you're the United States. I fucking own you.
Kirk was there. He didn't say Eric Kirk was there till he went on Candace. He goes, and I've got something new to tell you. Not only was there the head of TPUSA security, there was the day before the kill.
Patricia says, I love it when you do a show by yourself. Don't know why. I get that a lot. You know what? It's different with people because I have to restrain. See, okay, all right. I got to shift. We'll come back to Alex Jones. This is just the honest to God truth, okay? This is not to be rude. This is just me being as honest as I can. I steal the air out of rooms. I've always done it my entire life. And as an executive in the military, when I walk into a room, there's confidence there. And I'm able to do the show because I know what the show needs to be successful. And when I have other people, I'm not at my best because I will steal the air out of the room. And poor Olivia has to sit here sometimes when I do it. And I feel bad. So I hold back. And I got to stop doing that. And that's why we want to redo the show. We're thinking January 1st, we're going to make some changes. Is that we're going to have panels and we're going to have topics and we're going to, do it more systematic so it has pace. But when other people are in the room, I can't just be me. And it's really hard. And I know I get that a lot. A lot of people say that and come back and go, shock it, Trebek. Sorry, I saw Jason Copeland's. Anyway, so I appreciate it. I like the solo shows, and we got to figure out the patient. And it's not that Olivia's not great. It's not that Leroy's not great and Amy's not great. It's This is a hard job, and it's not easy. And it takes a certain personality and a certain person to do it. And not only can you have knowledge in your head, you've got to be able to present it, and you've got to be able to articulate it. You've got to be able to be fast and quick and run the show. I've been doing this for 5 years, and Olivia comes in here, and she can't be expected to pick up and run and do this so quickly. But she's getting better and better and better. Last night, she was great on Barry. She was amazing on Friday night. Olivia's really starting to pick up pace on the show. Leroy and I have a very good cadence with each other, and Amy and I have fun together. It's just a matter of finding... Patricia, I appreciate that, but I got my partners, and I trust them, and they are important parts of the show too. I just need to find time of possibly doing an AM show by myself, and I think that will scratch the itch that you're talking about. I'm with you. I got to figure out the timing though. You know, I really do. All right, here's the rest of Alex. Thank you.
It was Erica Kirk. I'll never forget those eyes. Oh yeah. Yes, that's how the government, if they're doing this, would have those people. I mean, you know nothing about how that stuff even works. I've studied it historically. So it's absolute.
Brian Hayek, it's chivalry, not sexism. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Brian, thank you. It really is. I love women. I do. I am chivalrous, and I'm protective of my wife. And then a lot of people say I'm sexist too, because they think that I'm short with Olivia. I'm short with everybody on this show. But if you would see how I covet and love my wife, and I don't want to get emotional. I love my wife more than anything else in the whole world. And you guys make it possible to do this show, and I'm aware of it, and I love you for it, and I can't thank you. And trust me, I wish we had 1,000 people so we could spread donations around, but we don't. This is what we've got. And you know what? The numbers are good tonight. So we're going to continue to keep pushing. JD says, that's why I like you, Matt. You remind me of my big brother. He is a big boy, is large and smart. Only person that ever challenges him is me, and we find common ground. I love that. Patricia says, you don't have to change anything. It's just impressive. Thank you. It's nice to get a change up every now and again. I enjoy all the input from everyone. Tom says, can't see the video. Oh, yeah, that's because I switched it. I'm sorry. Here's
horse crap.
All right, so Alex Jones calls out this Fort Huachuca thing. You guys remember I showed you Candace Owens' Fort Huachuca, so now I'm going to show you what she released today, and I'm going to tell you why it's complete fabricated bullshit, okay? 120% fabricated bullshit. Not only did you hear how she talked to Ben and talked about him, and Ben's a big boy. He can take care of himself. He can take care of himself. 1 second. Trying to find it. Okay, here it is. This is what she released. Now, this is what she released. And it is an executive summary of a police report. And she says that this is the police report from the military police. Oh, Kat received her Sherpa blanket. That's wonderful. I'm glad you love it. It's very comfy. We're going to be getting all the winners out on the 1st. So she says this is the police report. So I'm going to read it, okay? And then I'm going to tell you the notes that I read and why I'm going to blow this apart. So if you're going to bookmark this and if you're going to clip it, now's a good time to start. Because if you want to go ahead and prove Candace Owens wrong, here's my receipts. On Tuesday, 09 September 2025. Anyone who's in the military knows that that's wrong right there. Just the beginning. United States military does not spell out September. It would be 09 SEP 25 at 11:17. And usually you do not see at. It would just be 09 September 2025 space 11:17. Just letting you know. At Fort Huachuca Military Police Station was notified by Daniel Head, CW2, Chief Warrant Officer, JTF, Joint Task Force, SWB, of suspicious individual of Southwest Border Mission Headquarters, building number 70525. OFC Navarro, OFC Johnson, 2020, and Sergeant McCaslin, 200, were dispatched. Upon arrival, patrol spoke with CW2 Daniel Head, who stated that the individual entered the building with a backpack making concerning comments. The backpack was taken away and placed outside on the north side of the building and called the police station to report the incident. Sergeant McCaslin requested K9 to sniff the bag in the vehicle, a gray and color Chevy Equinox, plate 9, Michael Indigo, November 66, Charlie Alpha, for the odor of explosives. OFC Navarro and OFC Johnston made contact with the individual identified as Mr. Michael Snow, CTV/retired. From his Washington's driver's license, Whiskey OL Lima 6355 Delta Delta 13 Bravo. Mr. Snow stated that he used to work in the Joint Task Force in the 80s while he was in the Army. Mr. Snow also stated that he was threatened by cartels and that he needed to talk to someone about it. INV Almos and INV Carlson arrived on scene and requested the building number 75025 be evacuated due to the suspicious package. The building was evacuated and patrols secured both the entrances to the area. Chief Davidson also arrived on scene to assist. K9 Specialist Hayes, K09. Niner arrived on the scene and conducted sniffs on the backpack, the Chevy Equinox, and building number 70525 with negative findings. INV Almos and INV Carlson transported Mr. Snow to the MPI office for further investigation. This is the final report. Oh my God, we've got facts. All right, well, here are my facts. You guys have seen this. It's up. I'm going to keep it up for your viewing pleasure. Okay, let's get to work. Now, is this a military-worthy police report? No. In fact, if this person was Shore Patrol, military police, for CID or Master at Arms or whatever, this person would be summarily slapped across the head. Here are the things that I found. These are the hard problems with this. These are the big ones. We've got a couple pages. The future date on the finalized report. Military police reports don't put future dates. So when this report was released, the one that they actually signify in the conversation happened before, but the report is showing a future date based upon when she got it. Been doing police. I did Shore Patrol reports, Master at Arms reports for theft, for embezzlement of shopkeeper funds. We did multiple work with the CID and Army, military police, and Air Force. Never future dated a report in our lives. Nope, never seen it before in my life. They can't be closed in the future. It says this is a final report. You can't close a final report in the future. This is impossible. There's no case number of any kind, no desk blotter number, no MPI ROI, no CID reference. None whatsoever. You need this in order to go ahead and find this report again. There's nothing to go ahead and find it. You put a blotter number on it. You put an MPI or an ROI or a CID number on it. So whenever you want to reference a case again, or if it's laying dormant for 10 years and somehow this Michael Snow comes up in another case, it can be pulled up by the appropriate military institution that's trying to find it, including FBI or Department of Homeland Security or ATF or DEA. Okay. There's no unit header. There's no system header or footer. Army reports are rigid about identification blocks. There's none. If you carbon copied it, it would be there. There's no signatures or approval authority listed for your final report. And although you might not see the signature, every single signature in the military has name, last name, first name, rank, and position of that person and qualification that has to do with the actual report. You might see MA1 Yunkt, comma, Jeff, SW/AW, JAG, whatever. You don't have any of that. This reads not like military standard. This reads like a free narrative. And it's a free type narrative because if you look, there's inconsistencies in capitalizations, there's inconsistencies with the names, there's inconsistencies with the way information is presented, and predominantly most bold information like names and rank, times, dates are all capitalized in the military. Always. Especially when you're talking about a duty station. Always. You notice how it's Chief Davidson, with all capitals, Chief, SPC, INV. These are things that happen, but there's inconsistencies in the entire police report. Rank and names are mixed inconsistently instead of using standardized formatting throughout. Building numbers appear, but installation identifiers and unit ownership are missing. And the reason why you would have that is that you might say building number 200, but there's multiple 200s on a base. So there's no identification of what building it was. So you could say motor pool, suite 200, or bay 200, or hangar 7. But you might have fixed wing aircraft over here with hangar 7, and hangar 7 for rotary aircraft is a click down the tarmac or the runway on the other side, and you don't have a building indicator here. No time sequences formatting. Army, military, police, and Navy Shore Patrol, man, I'm telling you right now, they follow a clear chronological structure. You would see 0913, this was reported. 1013, this was reported. 2109, this was reported. None of that. You don't have any standardized military time except for the beginning, which you need. Because in a police report, you're ultimately trying to identify chronological order to whatever you're submitting in your final report. This doesn't read like a final report. This looks like quick notes that somebody would write down in order to write a final report. The language, gray in color. No military would ever say gray in color. The adage of the military is when you are making a log entry or you're making a police report, brevity is the key. They wouldn't say gray in color. They would say gray Chevy Equinox. Gray would be capitalized, Chevy/Equinox. Or Chevy space Equinox. It would be Chevy/Equinox. Because then they would say Chevy Equinox, 4-door, blah, 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 blah. You know. And then you would see identifiers like missing back license plate, cracked window, rear view. They would use descriptors so you could discern it from other Chevy Equinoxes. And it would have the license plate. That's kind of a big deal. There's a lot of, in an effort for Chevy to make money, they made more than one Chevy Equinox. I just want to let you know. Just in an effort. Military reports normally list year, plate, state, registration status. MPs do not call the police station. They don't call it the police station. It would be like the MP desk or the desk sergeant. They wouldn't call it the police station. Or provost marshal, PMO. They would never call it the police station because they don't use that term. Requested canine to sniff the bag? No. Requested canine. Findings, negative. That's it. Requested canine. Canine arrived at scene at 11:26. Results, negative. Negative on drugs, negative on explosives, negative on contraband. Findings inconclusive. That's it. That's what it would say. Proper language is conducted, canine sweep or canine search for explosives, like I said. Negative findings is vague. MPs usually specifically specify no alerts or no indicators on key indicators. Transported Mr. Snow to the MPI office for further investigation. This is a big one. This is the biggest one right here. This will just completely shut this fucking thing down. Transportation in the U.S. military for anyone, even if it's a civilian, is an absolute paperwork night fucking mare. If you're going to use government resources for anything that it's not intended or intended, you must document it. Here's what you would need. You would need detention status, you would need consent, and reasonable suspicion or probable cause would be stated of why transport was taking place. Civilian, was contacted through normal patrol route on cross streets of K and Zulu, approached civilian, had conversation. Mr. Jones identified himself, provided military ID. Officer ascertained that this person was on the base, and I moved them to A, B, C, and D at this location, authorized by this, with a consent to search from this. Real simple. None of that is articulated. There's no Article 31B. Those are rights referenced despite question and transport. No offense listed, not even suspicious activity or disorderly conduct. No disposition code such as released, unfounded, referred, or detained. So there's no summation to the actual detaining of the aforementioned person. Procedural oddities. Building evacuated for a backpack. K9 clears it. Then the subject is transported anyway with no status. Doesn't make sense. If cartels were mentioned, that would normally trigger CID or federal coordination language. That is absent. DEA would be involved immediately. They would be flagged on this. There's no markers to flag them. There's no way for them to find this document. If the individual claimed prior joint task force work, that would normally be noted cautiously or verified, not accepted at face value. And not only that, if they were JTF or they were MARSOC or any other type of special unit, that would not be in the report. They don't need to have that information, and that's need to know information. And you don't know what that person's clearance level is. You don't know anything about it. So what they would put is retired RET, rank, name, demonstrated previous relationships with base operations in this sector. That's all they would say. This doesn't sound like a military police person in any way, shape, or form. They lack the clipped and repetitive scripted answers that all of us are trained with. Even in logbooks, we all write the same way, the same capitals, same letters. We're taught how to write. We're taught what to say. We're taught how to say it. None of this is formulaic. None of this is repetitive. None of this has government bureaucracy written all over it. And here's the big one for me. A lot of this, and Tina Savage will tell you if she's on, this sounds like civilian police. This doesn't sound like military police in any way, shape, or form. This has like civilian police written all over it. This sounds like a cop wrote it. Or dispatch. This doesn't sound like military police. And anyone who's in the military will tell you that. Where's Bubba? Get Bubba. Get Tommy. Get somebody else. It does not follow the discipline of military police reporting. It reads like someone familiar with MPs, but someone writing inside the MP system. I think it's bogus. I think it's completely bogus. And I think it's written by somebody who has a relationship or understanding of basic military, but probably more police and civilian policing. That's it. That's what I think. So there's my receipts. You tell me if I'm wrong. Bubba's there. He says 100%. That is the farthest thing from a military police report that I've ever seen. It's not even remotely close to how we communicate and we write, and everything is very systematic. Everything is always laid out. It's universal. And if there's a variance from this, it gets kicked back. If you submitted that as a final report, I don't care if you have the most non-chicken shit lieutenant, JG, or chief. Your ass is going to get ripped apart for that. You're going to get your ass ripped apart for it. Just letting you know. All right, moving on. Let's get into some more information. This is the letter that supposedly, even a cop wouldn't use the word sniff. Right. It's bogus. It's bogus. And if you want to prove to me that it's not bogus, I need all the things that I mentioned in there. And that's it. Now, this was found in the Epstein files, and this is the smoking gun, right? They don't care about Clinton. They don't care about all the pictures, the videos, everything else, of course. Of course. But they're saying now that this person right here is accusing that Epstein and Trump raped them. Here is what is said with the redactions intact. Blank asked about his time driving a limousine for 2 years in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. During blank time as a driver, he had met Donald Trump. Noted he picked the president up in 1995 and took him to the DFW airport. That's Dallas-Fort Worth, for those of you who want to know. Reported some of the things President Trump had spoken about during the ride while on his cell phone were very concerning. Reported he was a few seconds from pulling the limousine over in the median, and within a few seconds of pulling him out of the car and hurting him due to some of the things he was saying. As the caller chose not to. Noted Trump continuously stated the name Jeffrey while on the phone and made references to abusing some girl, was unsure who he was talking to, nor who he was referencing. As talked about his time meeting Donald Trump, immediately demeanor went stone cold and stated he raped me. Said what? As replied, Donald J. Trump had raped her along with Jeffrey Epstein. Noted some girl with a funny name took me into a fancy hotel or building. That's how it happened. Advised to call the police regarding the incident. As I stated, I can't, they will kill me. On Christmas Day, contacted, stated she had in fact called the police about what they had talked about. Told she had done good, did not hear from until 1/10/2000. Reached out to Blank stating Blank was dead and noted she was found with her head blown off in Kiefer, Oklahoma. Officers on the scene, Blank stated there was no way it was suicide. Coroner, not corner, you fucktard. Stated it was a suicide. Later stated committed suicide because Blank had gotten cocaine from a Mexican drug cartel. Feels the murder is a cover for Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay. Am I going to try to disprove all that? Nope. I'm just going to tell you that the person who made this statement also said that Hillary Clinton was responsible and partook in the Oklahoma City federal building bombing. This is an anonymous tip. The same person made many wild, outlandish accusations. This is hearsay. This is 100% sounds like it was fictitious. This was added in 2020, mind you. So this person waited 20 some odd years to the 2020 election to make this. They alleged, like I said, that Hillary Clinton was involved in Oklahoma City bombing. It does not show that a victim stated Trump and Epstein. Rather, the document shows that the caller told the FBI he heard this claim from a victim. It was made on October 27th, 2020, right before the election. This was literally when James Comey was coming out and saying, that was 2016. But in 2020, this was Joe Biden and Donald J. Trump. Do I have to go in anymore? Balls made another account. That's like, I think that's exact. Yet 25. Olivia said there was no way he was going to make 25 accounts. This guy's trolled us. I'll always be in your head. I fucking own you, but you won't call because you're a pussy. Dude, everyone knows you hate Jews. You just showed it as you posed as a woman. Oh my God. And I noticed you donated another. You keep giving me money, Balls. Why do you keep giving me money? If you fucking hate our show so much, why are you paying me for it? Yeah, I own you. I'm stalking you. I've looked you up. I've studied you. I follow you. I give you money. I created 25 accounts so I can interact with you. I've called you and ghosted over 7 different phone numbers so I can try to sneak in. And now I can't call and I can't go on Facebook because I've outsmarted you. Bro, stop projecting. Every single person knows that I fucking have you right by the balls, exactly where I want you. You call yourself Balls. Maybe I should start calling myself Balls. Maybe I'm going to call myself 25 accounts, you fucking head case. Oh my God, I love it. You pay me so you can troll me. You give me money. Oh my God, I fucking love it, dude. I love that you pay me money. You just donated to me. You just donated to me, dude. God, keep owning me, please. Keep owning me as you donate and give me money. Oh, And the reason why is because you can't communicate any other way, because I've banned you. You're so pissed off about Facebook. I love you, Balls. I'll never get rid of you, Balls. I'll never get rid of you. You're on Facebook, dumbass. I'm on Facebook, dumbass. Here's your boy, Balls. Watch this. Hey, it's not like they literally don't show what platform you're on, fucktard. That's a YouTube logo. Did YouTube change it to red and a play button? Yeah? Yeah, Balls? Is that what they did? I'm on Facebook, dumbass. Looks like you're on YouTube, fuckstick. I love your name's Danielle. Cross-dressing, transgender, Jew hater. Oh, my God. Do your parents know that you're a fag? Do I worry about this Balls guy? No, I already know everything about him. I know where he lives. I have his address. I have his work history. I got everything about him. He's a putz. I'm watching on Facebook right now, dummy. Comment. Say something. Say something on Facebook. I've already stopped you. That's why you're on YouTube, putz. And I can stop this one. I can stop everything. I own you. You give me money. You know what? Let's just find out who's lying. And the funny thing is, man, is you think that this is distracting from the show. This is what we do on this show. Johnny. Liv, give me a screenshot of Jonathan's donation. Get your mother. Fuck, you're ignorant. You're commenting on YouTube, retard. You have so many different accounts that you have no idea even what you're doing. You make retards look retarded. Mm-hmm. Left. Mm-hmm. Hey, can you please give me Jonathan Balls the $1 he donated fast? Run. All right. Karen says, is one of his accounts the alias Fumunda? That would be great. You know what's interesting? I have a question for Balls. How come the only people who agree with you are you? How come the only people who argue your points are you posing as other people? I have about 40 accounts on Facebook. Your bitch ass hasn't banned me from... You haven't made a comment. I'm still waiting for you to make a comment. Do it, liar. Make a comment on Facebook. I'll see it right here. Just make a comment live. Go ahead. Show us, Balls. Show us how it's done. School us. School us on the short bus. Come on, Johnny. Jonathan Nicholson. Why can't you post on Facebook, buddy? What happened? Did you get outsmarted? Oh, come on. Do it. Real simple. All you got to do is do it. Hi, Carol. We're having fun with the troll tonight. We're going to get back to the show in a second, but we gotta take care of these people, because this guy he has to put a cork on a fork to eat. Like, he'll stab himself with a fork. He's so fucking stupid. So. Carol Simpson. Guess who Carol is? How many women accounts do you have? Do you literally like just talk to old guys and pretend to be a woman? Is that what you do? So your sorry ass can band me? Band as in formulate a group of musical instruments and play melodic tones band? Or band as in Band-Aid? You mean band as in B-A-N-N-E-D? And it wouldn't be band as past tense, fuckstick. It would be ban. So you can ban me because it's future tense. You know, it's called English. I know you're a stupid fucking Canuck, but do you think you can learn how to spell? Yes, Carol, we're talking to you. Yes. We're saying hi. Liv, did you email that? Hey, Liv. Can you please tell her to email me this information, please? I've asked for 3 times now. I'd really appreciate it. Would love it. Wait, I think I got it. I do. There it is. Thank you. I got it. Thank you. I love you. You received a payment from Jonathan Nicholson. Email kejn@hotmail.com. Instructions are below. Oh, with his phone number. Oh, maybe I could call him. Oh, let's call him. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's call him. Okay, Carol, you're a real woman. Thanks. Daniel just doesn't have a life. Danielle, are you going to call? Or should I call you? Let's call you. I got your phone number. So we can call him. Let's see. Maybe he'll do better than he did last time. So this guy, just want to make sure we understand each other. He gives me money and pays me so he can troll me. Got to be the smartest guy in the world. Okay, Carol, you're a real woman. Awesome. Thanks for being a woman. Awesome. Good for you. All right. So how about this? How about Balls? You go ahead and give me a call. I'm waiting for you. Should we sing Jingle Balls? Oh, there is a great video that we have to show you. It's one that I posted today. And I got to find it. Then we'll get back to the show. He won't call. He's too much of a coward. He won't call. Do you remember when he called with Leroy, how fucking embarrassing that was? Oh, it was horrible. The best Christmas song ever. Here it is. Oh, yeah, he calls me stupid all the time. He can't even spell. You notice how he spelled it right? You banned me. He fucking corrected himself because he's so fucking stupid. Are you sure it's not you banned me? B-A-N-D? I'm in your fucking head, dude. I control everything you do. I get you to call in. You watch every night. You're so bad. You want to be a part of it. You want to be a part of the show so bad, and I just won't let you in. Here it is.
For those who have ears to hear, boom, 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 boom. Your annihilation's near, boom, 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 boom. You're no longer welcome here, boom, 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 boom. We've made it very clear, boom, 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 boom. America, you will now fear, boom, 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 boom. The ocean's your tomb. You have ears to hear, boom.
Start it over again, sorry.
Boom, 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 boom. Your annihilation's near, boom, 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 boom. You're no longer welcome here, boom, 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 boom. We've made it very clear, boom, 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 boom. America, you will now fear, boom, 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 boom. The ocean's your tomb. God bless America.
One shot, everyone dead center. Every one of those boats that gets knocked out is saving 25,000 American lives, not to mention the torn up families all over the country.
Operations against narco-terrorists. That's what these are. These are terrorists. Let's be clear.
Just so you understand, this was not an innocent group of people.
Merry Christmas, courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Ho, 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 ho.
Dilly Mean Team always gets it right. You know, it's sad because Balls supposedly owns me, but he can't even call. It's like he's been banned, B-A-N-D, and he can't post on Facebook. And I've only allowed him to, stay on YouTube so I can isolate him and know exactly who he is, because his rudimentary level thinking skills, and he's fucking retarded because he can't spell. It's really easy to spot him, and he can't call. That's pretty sad. You keep on owning me, man. You keep on giving me money. You can own me all you want. Let's see if we can go ahead and give him a call. You want to give him a call? Let's give him a call. Let's let him out of purgatory. Let's give him a call. Let's see what it sounds like. Let's see. Maybe he won't have his stutter that he had last time. It was pretty bad last time. He got very upset. Got very pissed off. He was very, very upset. Oh. All right, let's see. Let's see if he answers. Yes, I can, but he won't do it. He won't do it.
Sorry, we are unable to complete your call at this time. Please try again later.
Oh, balls. Fake phone number? What a fucking vagina. Oh, man, I have clipped his balls. I have clipped him. Ballless is his name. I forever dub thee Ballless. He will be called Ballless from forever. And let's spell it like he would understand. Let's see. How can we say B-A-W-L-E-Z-Z? Ballless. That's his new name. Let's go ahead and put that. Let's see how it looks in lights. Let's see. Ballless. That's perfect. It looks good. B-A-L-E-Z-Z. Dummies from now on. When Balls comes in, it's not Jonathan Nicholson. It's Ballless. Sure, it's a woman, as all of his accounts are. I think he's trying to tell us something. Thank you for the $1. I'll make sure not to spend it all in one place. Ownage. God, I love winning. Next is, let's see. I wasn't having a good night. I'm having a good night. Now I'm having fun. This is great. Tucker Carlson, Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is back. And he is now saying that all of the comments about the money and the wire transfers to all the girls and the underage girls and the parties and stuff was all the Jews setting him up. Pretty consistent with Matt Gaetz getting on the Jew train. But more importantly, there is a Chicago resident I want to show you. This is a Cook County board meeting. You guys hear about Cook County all the time. Pretty violent area, and politically pretty rough. Here is the board meeting. I want to show you this, and listen here. Balls is still trying to figure out how to call the show, and he's trying to make a Facebook account and can't figure out why he can't post. He doesn't understand how I'm better than he is.
I guess $1 Million Tony couldn't make it today. She too busy loving her home she just got for $1 million.
Matt, that's what you should do next year. Christmas balls with the name of the show. I think I should make a ballless shirt, because we made one for the Dum Dum. You guys remember Dusty Dinkelman? We made him a shirt. We should make one for ballless. It should be me naked eating a bowl of green Jell-O without showing anything, of course, because this is the same guy who has messaged me and written me several emails asking me for nude pictures while eating green lime Jell-O. I don't understand it. I don't understand this guy's MO. He's a little sick. Some of the things we found out about him and who he is personally, and got his record in Canada, it's a little troubling. And I said I wasn't going to release it, and I'm not going to. I don't want to embarrass the guy. And if he has a crush, he has a crush. But I'm not going to send you nude pictures, bro. Certainly not for $1. Debbie's been asking for feet pics, and I'm not going to do it for less than $1,000. So if you want naked Jell-O pics, you got to put more money into this. You got to commit more than $1. So I don't know what type of welfare they have in Canada, but figure out what it takes. Make it happen.
That's why we just received these high property tax bills. So we all here because of our property taxes. Some here, like Zoe and Miss Jessica, because y'all stealing black people property. So I just want to know, because we just came from the city council meeting. We're coming there, and the city is blaming the county. And now you just blaming Springfield. And then when all these people, when they go to these town hall meetings and you send your puppets, they lie and they blame the invisible white man. Somehow they are pushing us out of our community. They want our property. They want black people property. They never say who it is. They just say, you know who they are. But when I come up in here, I see all black faces. I see Democrats. So are we talking about the Democrats are pushing black people out of their communities? The Democrats hate black people. The Democrats want our property and replace us with illegal aliens, because you all come in these meetings talking about the invisible white person, but we don't never see him, but we see all of you all here. And then you sit here, all these black faces, you sit here, all Democrats, and you sit here all arrogantly like your seats are secure, like we are not coming after these seats. Just like I told Brennan Johnson over there the first time I spoke on that mic, I said the same thing that's making y'all laugh in here gonna make y'all cry. And then you see what's happening. Same thing here. Now I'm giving y'all warning right here. The same thing that's making y'all laugh in here is gonna make y'all cry. Mark my words. See, y'all sit here too comfortably, thinking that everything, black people stupid, that we don't understand what's going on, that we're going to vote blue no matter who. And all y'all got to do is use the race card. All y'all got to do is call white supremacy, the white man. But we're in a heavily Democratic city from top to bottom, state and city, all Democrats. So can we say that the Democrats are racist white men or white women? Who is it? Because this is what y'all telling us. So I'm letting you all know, Chicago flips red. We are not paying these taxes. We are calling for a boycott on these taxes. Nobody is playing this game no more. We won't pay our taxes until we get a forensic audit on where all our money is going. We're demanding that. We're asking President Trump to send the feds here.
30 seconds.
The DOJ here. We need a forensic audit on where our money is going. And we are not paying another, no property taxes. And we are
I'll tell you what, it's probably not going to be good if one person does that, if two people do that, if 50 people do that. But you start getting people unilaterally refusing to pay taxes without accountability. They can't arrest everybody. They can't put everyone in jail. And there has to come a point where Americans start demanding accountability for where our tax dollars are going. This is the problem. And it's not just white people who are pissed off. It's black people. It's Mexicans. It's every nationality and every race and every color and every creed, because greed affects everybody. And these politicians have been getting away with it for too long. There was an exchange. Did Balls leave? Oh. This is something I said. Guess he couldn't call in. Here is a video, and it doesn't need any explanation. Folks, donations, we are going to be on probably very quickly tomorrow, so this will be the last night of donations. Last night of donations until the 26th. So just FYI, if you're interested in helping out, you could tomorrow, but usually it's Christmas Eve. We're not trying to do that. So if you are planning on giving any time before the 26th, now is the time to shore it up. We've probably got about another 5 minutes or so. I want to show you this video. Here it is.
You've said things like black women are biologically different than white women.
All right. So this gets down to genetics. This gets down to, does skin color make you different genetically than other people who are not the same color? It's interesting. Watch.
They have different fertility windows. They have a higher rate of fertility complications. 50%.
There's no scientific evidence to prove that a black woman and a white woman are genetically different, right? This is like,
what are you talking about?
This is according, no.
Like literally, there are genes that code for their skin color. There are genes that,
again, this is like government data. This is EMI, right? This is the National Institute of Health. This is the American Medical Association. Like there is no scientific evidence to prove that.
And that's a big problem, right? Because
no, there's no scientific
and that's why I asked,
like IQ differences. Black people are genetically different from other populations.
And I'll say that again. There is no scientific evidence to prove that, right? And as people
I'm sorry, I'm stating, do you want to ask an AI if there's scientific evidence to prove that?
No, I want to ask.
Because what you're stating is just factually incorrect. Humans are genetically diverse. It's not a bad thing that humans are genetically diverse.
I'm not saying it's a bad or a good thing. I'm saying there is no scientific evidence.
And I'm saying that is a factually.
Yeah, he's saying that there is scientific
evidence. There is scientific evidence. There is
Based
overwhelming scientific
based
evidence.
On, and this
basics. No. This is like saying the sky is not blue. Like, it is genes that code their skin color, right? Those genes are obviously different in them than they are in us. How is that not science? That's just like a basic fact. The genes that code their skin color, their level of melanin production, are different from my genes that code melanin production.
And that's precisely why I was asking this question, because I think for some people that do believe, like you, that people are genetically different, that has historically been used to promote racial hierarchies, right? And that's why I'm asking you. Because you do.
So the question is, where do we come down on this? Are people genetically different? Are black people genetically different than white people? That's a good question. I'm asking. Is there genetic differences between Chinese people and Caucasian people? Asians and Caucasians? Is there genetic differences between Europeans and Americans? And don't even worry about race, but just by geographical locations. Are there physical differences genetically between a black woman and a white woman? Now, these two people who were making the argument that are Trump supporters, mind you, but you look at them and you say, oh, well, they look like liberals because they have funny glasses. No, they're just young and they're emotional. But of course they do. This reporter wants to deny that there's genetic differences. Now, do those genetic differences mean that they are inferior? That's a social conversation. It's not a scientific conversation. Inferiority is based upon statute, level, income, intelligence, strength, weakness, and 100 other different variables. That has nothing to do with science. It might be a social science, but even social science isn't science. Psychology is not science. It's hypothetical. And you can sit here and tell me all the while that sociology and psychology are science. No, they're social science, which takes interpretation. And there are other people's interpretations and collective who say that they are experts in these areas who go ahead and get to decide what is normal and not normal in society based upon a sociological or psychological perspective. That's social. It's not an applied science. I refuse to, because I have put too many psychologists and psychiatrists on the couch throughout my life. And because when I was younger, I saw like 4 or 5 different ones. And I will tell you that psychology is, science is this, is you have cancerous cells. These cancerous cells are either benign, which would mean they're not, or malignant, which they are. But like say a tumor. And you can cut that out. If it's subcutaneous, that completely changes the conversation. Is it in the blood? Is it in the muscle? Is it in the bone? Is it in the tissue? But if it's above the epidermis and above the skin, most of these cancers can be removed and cut out if it hasn't spread to other parts of the body. Fair? Fair. If it has, the stages of science for every single person is only dependent not on their genetic code or structure, but age, strength, finances, whether they're predetermined to have a higher susceptibility to not go under anesthetic and not come out of it due to a heart condition. But these are all variables. And scientifically, we know based on data and based on reoccurring patterns throughout science of how to handle those people and how to ensure a better chance of survival through that process. Right? But those are variables, and those are not consistent in science. Yet, the conditions are. And you can pretty much guarantee that a person who has some stage of cancer, no matter what physical ailments or financial situation they may be in or predisposition they may be in, We've handled that in science before, and we have a pathway to say this is what needs to happen. We need to give this person this type of medication. We need to ensure that their diet is strong. We need to do a low-level radiation. They can't handle chemotherapy because they have A, B, and C that could go ahead and extenuate these circumstances, and they may not live through the process. So we'll do this instead as science. And every single person will be handled accordingly based upon the predetermined situation that's there. And there's a scientific proof and method for it. Now, if you have to remove somebody's neck and stick it onto somebody else's body, a lot of that science is going to be an applied science to do the procedure of ensuring somebody has the right amount of blood and the right amount of, having the right type of surgeons in there and having the right type of plasma there and having the right type of nurses and microscopes and everything else. But you don't know what the fuck's going to happen because you've never done that surgery. I'm just assuming maybe they have tried to remove somebody's head and reattach it. I don't know. But the point is a lot of that is not going to be applied science. A lot of that is going to be theoretical science, or it's going to be what a lot of people call hit or miss. And experimentation will take place, data will be collected, and then a precedent will be set. And then this is now the way you handle this. Same thing happened with heart transplants or kidney dialysis or anything else. Now, am I a doctor? No, I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you all of those things because everything I just said is incontrovertibly true. But with psychology, there is not a one-stop shop. You can't just give somebody a pill and then their body's going to react this way because the human condition and the human psyche is unmappable. Experiential learning, situational learning, trauma, a person's neuropathways, the person's ability to replicate a high level of serotonin to handle their mood swings, a predetermined situation like depression or post-traumatic stress or hyperactive disorder or bipolar disorder can impact everybody's perception on whatever type of science you're giving them. You can't map the human condition. It's impossible because everybody's different. So when we talk about genetic disposition, does your genes make you different, inferior, or whatever to the human condition, to the human mind, to the physiology versus the sociology or psychology of a human being? And they're two very different things. Physiology is fairly consistent with variables that can also be considered, but the human condition is impossible to map. You can't say, okay, well, because this drug worked on this person, it's going to work on this person. That's not the way this works. So when somebody says that genetically somebody's different and that makes them inferior, well, that's not true. Because I can show you exceptions to those things that are outside the outliers, the 0.01%, like abortion. Well, what if she's raped by her uncle? She's black with one leg. She was a lesbian with one eye, and she has a lisp. Okay, well, thank you for giving me the most incredibly obnoxious outlier possible. But yes, even in that situation, we should try to save the baby. That's very different than saying, well, we've got a test that we gave to 2,600 people. 2,400 people responded positively. 75 people had this and 45 people had this. And now this scientific study has gone international. And now we have cases of 275,000. And these numbers are scaling. Okay, well, now we can say this is a method and we can prove this is a scientific method and replicate the results ad nauseum based upon the criteria of this person being a human being. And everything below that, whether it be a predetermined condition or an ailment or psychological, whatever it is, those can be entered into the equation to give us a variable outcome that's acceptable. That's science. So when we say all this bullshit that a black person's inferior, well, you can't say that because those are your opinions and your predetermination of what all black people are based upon a skin color and a pigmentation and a high level of melanin in their skin based upon that they're closer to the equator and where they come from. It's fucking hot. That's why Well, why are Eskimos brown and predominantly Asian in descent? Well, there'd be the Inuit is because they were Asians and Pacific Islanders. That's why. So what we need to do is we can say that, yes, genetically we're different. But once you go past that and start adding psychological and sociological application or your prejudice and biases into it, well, then that disproves the scientific method that all people are different, because we are. We're not all the same. And I will tell you most assuredly that black people are more athletic than white people. Not in all cases. Bruce Jenner was incredible. Bruce Jenner was incredible. But in most cases, black people are better athletes than white people. But it depends what you're saying. What if you throw them on the hockey skates? Well, then 98% of white people or European people are going to be better, or Canadians are going to be better than black people. So it's all about the conditions. Now, if you take a black person from Watts and you take a white person from Kentucky and you give them a spear and you throw them in the middle of Africa and you tell them, kill that lion, who's going to win? They're both probably going to die. Unless that white person or black person has hunted lions with spears ad nauseum and have the experiential learning to be superior at that fight. So when we talk about the human condition, yes, a lot of people say black people are dumber than white people. This is a stereotype. No, black people come from less developed countries. And this is predominantly true. You look at sub-Saharan Africa, and it might as well be the 1400s. They have not moved through with the rapidity that white cultures have. And we know why. Because these places are mostly forgotten. We know slavery was a huge thing. We know apartheid was a huge thing. We know using them as slave traders for diamond trading. We know what has happened. We know that AIDS has kept Africa completely in the Stone Age as far as its advancements. But you say, well, then how come when black people come to the United States, they can't be as smart? Well, that's bullshit. Of course they can be as smart. But it's not the people from the frickin' barrio who are usually going ahead and making the Fortune 500. These are people who had good families, good upbringings, who had success in what they did, whether it be a small business into a medium business to a medium business to a large business, and then passing that on to the children, and then, you know, enriching themselves from that environment, having schools and having tutelage and being in white neighborhoods. Let's be honest. There is no study that says that black people are stupid and white people are smarter. What it says is that the opportunities that black people have, especially in the inner city, is not as strong as what white people have. And if you don't know and don't believe that and say, Matt, you're full of shit, that sounds like DEI, then why don't you live in the fucking inner city? That's what I thought. So shut up. You know what I'm talking about. My point about this whole thing is that to deny that people are genetically different is a complete lie. And to say that genetics somehow determine people's success or failure at certain things is also not true. But you can also say that genetically, that people have certain advantages over others. And if you say, no, that's not true, Matt, that's impossible. There's no way that black people are better athletes than white. Okay, well then explain to me why a woman can't lift as much as a man. Because there's genetic differences between us. So why would you assume that there's not genetic differences based upon other factors outside two men equally compatible, but one is 6'4" and 225 pounds, the other one's 5'6" and 140 pounds. Who's going to win that fight more often than not? Well, unless that person's Bruce fucking Lee, who's 5'8", he's more than likely going to get his ass handed to him because he's given up 100 pounds and 10 inches on his reach. So why the conversation about it? Well, because I think we're so afraid to sit here and say, yes, there's differences between black people and white people culturally, physically, anatomically, and yes, mentally in some cases. But that isn't all decided by genes, and it's not all decided by DNA. There is real life experiences. There's experiential learning. Otherwise, you know what you sound like? You sound like lesbians and gays who say I was born this way. You're saying that you cannot go ahead and move past your genome mapping. And that is a misnomer, and it's not true. Because there's plenty of people who've had unfortunate circumstances in life. I'm one of them, who I'm moderately successful. But I'm not college educated. I worked in retail. I moved my way up. I was successful. I was successful in the military. I have a good life, good house, good job. I love what I do. I love my family. I love the people I talk to every night. I would consider myself very, very fortunate and lucky based upon the life that I had growing up, which didn't start out very well. Paul Rivera said it best. I know a lot of dumbass white people. It's pretty good. There was an explosion, Pennsylvania nursing home. It's now a level 2 mass casualty event. You guys may have heard this. And I would love to get into more tonight, but my voice is going out. I am struggling. Oh, Amy Hartz. I'm sorry. I'm seeing double Amy, and obviously I'm not doing very well. I can't speak either. The psychology book in my apartment says, to counteract our human tendency towards faulty reasoning, psychologists adopt a scientific attitude that is based on curiosity, skepticism, humility, and critical thinking. Just saying. None of that is scientific. Without the application of the scientific method, curiosity, skepticism, humility, and critical thinking are completely useless. You can stare at a problem all you want and transcend the depths of universal contemplation beset by paradox. But if you don't have a method to disprove, to prove something fallible or something as concrete, evident, then it doesn't matter how critical you are in your thinking process. Psychology makes assumptions based upon anecdotal evidence. Physiology is different than psychology because of that. Sociology does the same. Sociology will tell you that every single culture, every single person on the planet is completely different, and the only thing consistent that is with them is based upon tribalism, is based on consistencies for considerable success at living. And sociology is used from lessons of the past. But there's no scientific method or replication of that. The Romans and the Greeks were two extremely powerful cultures that more than likely should have very similar sociological standards of life for everybody, yet they didn't. The Greeks aspired to be that not all were created equal, but a thriving society, and everyone, all boats rise at high tide, was considered to be a consistent yet lofty goal. But sociologically speaking, the Romans felt completely different, that the people were there to serve the leaders of Rome. And they were treated as such, and they were treated almost like slaves and peasants, and they were actually considered to be less evolved mentally, and they needed guidance, that they were almost pets to people, and that you would throw them some table scraps, whether it be Christians being served with lions or local gladiators sparring inside the Colosseum, that would entertain people and satisfy the mob. But what they realized in Rome, that ultimately the mob had the power because a mass of people all moving towards one single focus was insurmountable no matter how much power you had over them, which is amazing because African Americans didn't realize this with modern day slavery. I mean, Africans outnumbered white slave owners 100 to 1. All they had to do, they had 4 million. All they do is rise up and they could have taken the South. And honestly, the North would be pressed to beat them. The ferocity and the fighting regiments were incredible in the Civil War. They were absolutely incredible. And were absolutely paramount in every war since. The ferocity of African American fighters was incredible. And this has a lot to do with genetics. It has a lot to do with the survival rate. It has a lot to do with pain tolerance and not standing blisters on their feet in the freezing cold of Virginia during marching, 100 miles from a southern area in the middle of winter. African American soldiers were built different. My point is that psychology and sociology, you're right. It's all about critical thinking skills. It's all about analysis paralysis. It's all about logical deduction. But unless you have a method of proof, it's all theory. It's all theory. I mean, Sigmund Freud based an entire career on theory. We can bring it all back to your parents. We can bring it all back to mom and dad, and the insignificance of your life and the desperation that you feel is all because of this. But that's not necessarily true for everybody. Most psychologists seem like fortune tellers and prognosticators after they talk to you because they'll ask you questions. How was your life with your mother? They never start out with saying your mother is the root of your issues. They always have to talk to you and listen to you and understand you. And then they make an analysis, a logical deduction, a curious synopsis of who you are. But most of the time, these things are just educated guesses. My experience with psychologists is and psychiatrists are much different. But that's just me. Washington, both sides are the modern day Romans. Yeah. Greeks. Democracy killed the Greeks. Buffalo Soldiers, yeah. Give them hell fighting 56, right? 56? I'm going to find it right now about Pennsylvania and a little bit more. But Amy, I'm not disagreeing with what your statement is. I completely agree with you. That is the basis of psychology and sociology. That is 100% the basis. And everything you said is correct. And I'm not saying psychology doesn't have its place. I'm not saying that sociology isn't good to study other cultures and understanding the matriculation of thought that takes place in societal tribalism, and I think it's a good thing. What I'm saying is it's not science. So that's why this whole DEI thing doesn't work, and the woke culture and white fragility, it just doesn't scan, because it's all predictive nonsense and mumbo jumbo. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I could be wrong. I've been wrong once, a long time ago. Here is this, and then I'm going to go. And I want to say thank you for everyone who's donated and listened tonight. I appreciate you very, very much. This explosion, it's a Category 2 explosion. That's some pretty big damage. Looks like there's some secondary fires. More than likely gas. That's black smoke, so that's not a super hot fire. That's probably a sympathetic fire caused by the explosion. That's looks like chemically enhanced, maybe gas, but it's not extremely hot. Looks like this happened at an elderly home in Pennsylvania. Location is Silver Lake Nursing Home in Bristol, Pennsylvania. Suspected gas blast. That's what I would have thought. 2:15 p.m. caused partial building collapse, raging fire, and mass casualty. Multiply injured. Yeah, gas explosions are no joke. That compression and release is dangerous. But you can tell these are all probably secondary fires or gas line. The black smoke is an indicator. That means plastics, rubbers, synthetic material that can't get very, very hot is catching fire. Black smoke is indicative of that. White smoke usually means it's extremely hot. This is the location. Level 2 MCI requested for gas explosion with reported partial building collapse at Silver Lake. So a horrible event, and what does not have to happen during Christmas Eve. It sucks, and I'm sorry. If you folks are living next to it, let's put our hands together and say a prayer for those folks that have to deal with that. So when you go to an assisted living home, you expect to be protected. Amy says, I'm saying it says psychology adapts a scientific attitude. Right. It's scientific attitude, personality. Yeah. And Amy, I'm not trying to disagree with you here. I completely agree with what you're saying. In fact, you're saying exactly what I am. A scientific attitude is a personality trait towards a specific set of information. That's what I'm saying is completely wrong with psychology and sociology and other non-applied science, is the scientific method is non-existent. You don't have to have incontrovertible proof to prove something as factual. You don't have a control experiment. You don't have exculpatory evidence. You don't have a plethora of data. A lot of it is archaic practices of thought based upon a few psychological experts like Sigmund Freud, like Nellis and others who have written the code of psychological medicine, whether it be psychiatry or guided mental assistance through psychological experts. It takes a scientific attitude, but that's not the same thing as the applications of the scientific method. So if we were to lay out the scientific method, so I make sure I give you the exact scientific method explanation because it's been a while. Scientific method listed plainly: observation, question, research, hypothesis, experiment. And this is where it kind of stops. Data collection, analysis, conclusion, replication, and peer review. You have observation, you have question, you have research, you have hypothesis, experiments, but the analysis, conclusion, replication, and peer review is the door has been closed on psychological practices. The same methods we've been using for 80 years have not changed much, but the ability to understand and expand other types of mental trauma, mental sicknesses, whether it be ADHD, whether it be PTS or TBI, the answer has always been medication. It used to be isolation. It used to be electroshock therapy. The study of psychology and psychiatry in the United States and all over the world has been predominantly medieval practices, and so were medical practices that were supposed to be completely the scientific method. Bloodletting, leeches. I mean, hopping backward 3 times and spinning a ring on a string. These practices were barbaric. And medicine has evolved and changed, and it's done so with a scientific method of study. And psychology and psychiatry has not expanded and changed with the same rapidity and fluidity as the medical field, in my opinion. Because the answer still today, if a child is hyperactive, is to check to see if there's a thyroid issue. If there's not a thyroid issue, then you go ahead and check to see if there is a functioning issue with the brain. And if that doesn't work, if there's a chemical influence. No? Okay. Now it's a mental issue. So therefore, the only 2 ways to fix that is to have him go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, one who prescribes medicine or one who evaluates until medicine is prescribed. I don't believe those are the answers. I don't believe Ritalin should be on the market. I don't think Prozac and lithium should be on the market. I don't think kids should ever receive those type of things. Because I happened to be one of them at the age of 13 who was on adult levels of lithium and adult levels of Ritalin, and it did absolute damage to my body, physiologically and mentally, I believe. Those answers are still here today. We had diagnosed kids with ADHD, attention deficit syndrome, hyperactivity, and the first rule is let's get them on some sort of medication. I don't consider, lobotomy was something, right? I don't consider that to be advancements in medicines. If 45 years ago, they did the same thing to me, and they're still doing the same thing today, and we know that those methods don't work. We know that those SSRIs and NSRIs are really harmful to the development of children, not just from a brain level, but physically, anatomically. Their reproductive systems can be at harm. Their overall growth. Heart murmurs, brain bleeds, brain swelling. I mean, there's horrible reactions to this. So it's not that I'm not saying that psychology and sociology and all this doesn't have their place and non-applied sciences are useless. That's not what I said. What I said is it's not science. Actually, it used to be eating healthy to treat people before the medicines. Medicines are pushed by doctors. It's a perfect example. You just perfectly stated a wonderful example. Eating healthy is better for you than downing a bunch of medicine. Is this true? Have we applied this information? Of course we have. I'm one of those people who agree with you. I have not touched a Percocet or a Vicodin or a T3 or a hydrocodone or OxyContin because I realized that it was slowly killing me and the pain receptors were not being impacted. And I was no longer able to really understand because of analgesic rebound and because of not being able to produce dopamine and serotonin for sleeping on my own without some sort of chemical aid, that eating healthy would be better. I'm living proof. I'm with you. But psychology doesn't state that. And psychiatry certainly doesn't state that. Psychology does more. Psychology will tell you that eating healthy and having a more active lifestyle and a non-sedimentary lifestyle will help with depression. Psychiatry says there's a medicine for everything. And get the medicine first, and then we'll have the conversation. I completely disagree with that. I think that's vehemently against the way you and I both think. I was on Prozac and lithium too in my teen years due to being in the state's care. So you understand. So you and I agree. I don't think we disagree. And let me ask you a question. All the psychologists that you spoke with, because if you were raised by the state, then you spoke to them regularly, did any of them help you? Or was it you that found your way out of those holes? Was it you who uncovered with time and with healing and with maturity, maybe at a slower pace than most people, which even once again proves, because once again, you can't map the human genome. You can map the human genome, but you can't map the human experience. This is lending more credence to that, is that people mature at different levels. People reach dissonance at a different level. People understand the difference between right and wrong at a different level than others. Yeah. I could have this conversation all night. Amy, you should call in sometime. Love to have that conversation with you about your experience, because they did the same thing to me. And can I just be completely transparent with you? And I can say this now that I'm out of the Navy and my security clearance is over and I'll never work for the U.S. government again. But one of the greatest things I ever did was take acid. I know I'm not trying to turn into Joe Rogan, but I did. And I was foolish. And I did it before the military. But it unlocked something in my brain. And the Ritalin and the Prozac and lithium, that never helped me. All that did was make me fat. And then I took it out on myself and ate more to try to swallow my feelings. But I took acid, and it was the most unreal experience of my life. And for about 14 hours, I drew, and I just saw the world differently. And I don't recommend this to anybody because there's no scientific proof that this is real, but this is what happened with me. And I was a changed person mentally. I was able to connect the dots. I was able to understand things. And when I came out of that, I had unlocked something in my brain that I can't explain. And I had the ability to retain and comprehend. And I've been that way ever since. Now, does someone have to do with going in the military and finding a job that I wanted to do and working in intelligence, and I had to apply myself, and I finally found something to motivate me? Sure, all those things are true. But you can't hammer a nail unless you have a hammer. I mean, you can use a brick, you can use tire iron, but those aren't the tools for the job. The tools for the job that I needed to do was to expand my mind and able to retain information and process it, something I could not do with ADHD. And why is it so far for people to believe that LSD doesn't have beneficial properties for people, but we think Prozac and lithium and other SSRIs and NSRIs do? You know what I mean? So am I saying that drugs are the answer? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I believe that I took a drug that had ancillary benefit that I did not understand or even expect. Some people say they feel the same way. Some people have also done the similar and have had the same experience. But for me, that was really truly and I never touched it again. I did it one time. I've said this before to people. Actually, they did help me. I was willing to be taught while the other kids refused healing. Okay. Then why did they put you on medication as a child? Do you think that was helping you or hurting you? See, because I think that's antithetical to helping a child. Is numbing them, slowing down their responses, brain bleeds, nosebleeds, seizures. These are all things that lithium and Prozac and Ritalin have caused in children that are not adults. And it is harmed more kids than it's helped. So I don't understand how they helped you when they put you on that medication. But once again, we're not talking on the phone, so that makes it hard. Anyway, some mushroom tea. Yeah. I don't think Amy's a fake account. I think Amy's sharing some stories and that's it. But I don't agree that I think it's hard for you to tell me that you were on lithium and Prozac and then they helped you, because then you're not seeing a psychologist, you're seeing a psychiatrist. And if you're seeing a psychiatrist, then they're medicating you. I don't know if that's help, but that's just me. All right, everybody. It helps heal some TBI stuff. From what I understand, I almost went to a study in South Carolina, had my brain looked at and dosed by docs, but I missed the opportunity. LSD. Yeah, there's people who've taken it and said it's extremely beneficial. Yeah. All right. Well, good conversation. Appreciate everybody. We are going to be doing maybe an hour tomorrow. We'll be coming on for Christmas Eve. I want to say thank you guys for helping us out with donations. It really means a lot. I want you to have a Merry Christmas. Take care of each other. Thank you for watching tonight. It was good to kind of connect and talk with you. Even having Ballless here is important to me. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. God bless. Get some rest, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.